Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome live to NDSU's indoor practice facility. A traditional like any other. It's Bison Media Day, and we got the head football coach right out of the chute to start things. There's one thing I just noticed on our intro. I don't have any viral thing of you in our intro, you saying anything to me. So we got to make that happen in 2020.
You know, I've noticed that. We got to come up with some sort of signature deal.
I haven't asked you anything preposterous yet for you to get really upset about, so maybe that's on the to-do list for 2026.
No, right. The intensity level, the consistency's usually pretty good out of both of us. So.
All right, well, here we are. We're 2 weeks in. You got scrimmage tomorrow. I want to ask you about that. Give us an analysis of the first 10 days of fall camp.
We're really a well-conditioned team. You know, last night I checked on some jumps, some catapult, GPS speeds. You know, we had 20 guys that were around or just below like the 80% mark, but that means 100 guys are still 85% or better. So I like that aspect. We're competing at a really high level. What I mean is you see a spirit going into the competitive drills. The situational stuff now is getting introduced. But honestly, it's been a really physical camp. I mean, we've got some older guys that have taken some steps forward, and there's been some really good banging, and I like our chances if we can capture being the most physical team, you know, in the Mountain West Conference.
How much did the heat, Tim, play a factor the last 7 days? It's cooled off a little bit, but what was that to start camp with?
It was really interesting because Trish was kind of scrambling around. We had a couple guys, you know, that you'd assume, okay, they're from the South. They've been in this heat before, but I'm not sure a lot of programs push and practice the way we do. And so it was really pretty eye-opening after the first real hot one that we had to get some more electrolytes. We had to take a break. Trish mandated 2 breaks, so it was good that she's on top of like regulations and things like that. But then a day later, you see that they're looking into new temperature regulations for the big guys, and those kind of things. But honestly, we need that. You need that in fall camp, and very thankful that we had a couple really hot days and we were able to get outside and do a bunch of work.
This is the last fall camp as we know it. The structure is going to look different, looks like, in 2027 in terms of less practices. How much do you have to adjust for that? And you and I talk about this all the time. You've not had 1 year be the same, but there's going to be less practices because you're going to be able to practice in the summertime starting next year.
It actually feels like a first again, right? Like I'm going into year 3 as a head coach, but every semester has had a change or an adjustment to recruiting or to the calendar or whatever. I personally did a lot of research. I think this whole thing is going to be fascinating from a couple different standpoints. You know, can the Bison be effective right now? Can we win? Can we win big? But there's going to be a process to this. And some of that is going to be adjusting to 21 practices next fall and 21 practices in spring and June. And so we'll get, throughout the year, we'll get about the same, but we have to, we're going to have to adjust and monitor how we install and when things go in and how to, you know, stack those install days.
I got a couple of questions from viewers that repeatedly so far through fall camp. A, how offensive line is looking. B, corners. Let's start with corners. What have you seen out of a new group there so far?
Well, there's more. I think there's more bodies than ever to consider. I think right now Grant and Eric Amako, they would tell you, hey, we're going to play 4 guys. And so that's a positive on one hand. The negative to that is I'd like to see 2 to 3 really emerge as, okay, these are the guys, and maybe this guy can play situationally. And so there's a lot of competition on that. It was one of the things I wrote down preparing to come talk with you guys. You know, we're in a wait-and-see mode here. The good news about last night's practice is multiple opportunities. We really pushed the ball downfield, and so multiple opportunities getting evaluation there. The O-line is significantly, from a depth standpoint, the guys that needed to improve, improved. Coy Olson, Gage Schmidt, Stummis, and now Josh Mangan's putting a lot of football together here. And so it's really good to see those 3 or 4 guys to get into the fight. At times, I'm not sure Coy's not the most dominating inside guy from a physical standpoint. Griffin Empey is handling everything at a first-class level. Ryan Babich has improved. Kenny has come on the last 2-3 days. And if he can stay on this track, all of a sudden some things are going to get solidified. Tomorrow is huge. We are pushing to be able to name 5, and hey, you'll see this 6th. But I do not want to be playing musical chairs, but if we have to, we will.
Yeah. In terms of what a name, he got here in January, went through, obviously, spring football. Describe his ascension up and how much he actually practiced the last couple of years at Kansas. Because I know we talked about it with him, and this is all foreign to him in terms of practice when he got here in January.
And I don't like comparing programs and stuff. I know Kansas is back on track with their new OC as far as some double repping and things. It was just pretty apparent to me from a running standpoint that Kenny wasn't as strong and his conditioning wasn't as good as it was at the end of the summer. And in fact, I think football-wise, it's improving every day. I mean that, and I can't say that about everybody on our team. He is really coming into his own. You're seeing him strain in the run game, and you're seeing him, get off and pass pro much better. I just think, you got Dylan Chimera, I think, doing a first-class job. You got Taylor Lucas as a phenomenal line coach. I have some knowledge on it, and Dan keeps a close eye on it. I think he's taking advantage of all the extra coaching that he's getting in the repetitions.
Not to give away the kitchen sink here, I was out at practice on Monday. I saw Gage Schmidt getting reps with the ones. Tell me his development, former walk-on at center, who was getting reps with the ones in spring ball as well.
That's where, for the fans, the combinations of people matter. And then who are the 5 that are playing the best together? Yeah. I could make an argument today. We could easily talk ourselves into Gage Schmidt goes at center, Empey at a guard, Coy or Tastad at a guard, or Josh, Kenny, and Ryan Babich. So, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'd love to have the 2 All-American players, but I like this group. They fight. They're competitive. And again, I think Coy provides a little bit of an edge in there that's really tough.
First 7 or 8 practices you've seen out of Nathan Hayes at quarterback. What steps up or starts up to you there?
You're right. You're only as good as your last day.
Yeah.
I think he's been terrific. But then last night we're introducing 2-minute. And, Coach Olson and Devin Klein, these mad scientists, they can't just stand there and play cover 2. They're up there showing zero pressure and bailing. And so we did some really nice things in the 2-minute drill, but we also had one, fizzle out with a poor decision. And so these next 3-4 practices, as far as, as far as third downs and 2-minute drill being introduced, are critical to how much are we going to push the ball? How much are we going to play with tempo? How much do we spread people out versus playing condensed?
Wide receiver, you added 3 players there. Have you seen that kind of uptick in talent that you wanted to see at that position?
Well, I most certainly think right now Jackson Williams, Mackay have been really consistent and solid. And then you add JP, he's still going through the growth process of installation, but he flashes every day. Jordan McCants is a strong player. And then you got Isaiah St. Romain, who I know has had his best 3 or 4 days in a row consistently. Well, then you back that up with Chris Keel coming on the scene. And that's not to leave out Gores and Conklin, and who are important special team players. So, I like the depth, but you most certainly want to know who the playmakers are coming out of this fall camp, so you can, in big moments, we want to be thinking players, not plays.
The next week or so, that's the real dog days of camp. How important is the next 7 to 10 days, considering you're still 20 some odd days out from playing a football game yet?
Yeah, that's an interesting view. I like what you're saying. The first scrimmage in the tackling there is so critical. But can you cultivate some real one-on-one situations so that the players, hey, we're scrimmaging, this is live. Yeah. Players have a tendency to value those situations more, just like the coaches. And so once we get through that scrimmage, you're right. Practice 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that's going to be the meat and potatoes of most everything we do. And then you got 19% of your plays from last year were in the gold zone. And then we start changing gears to Jacksonville State.
Speaking of Jacksonville State, how much research have you, when you start, I think we talked in May, you were like, all right, I've started watching. How much have you done now to get ready for the Gamecocks
I'm
here?
most certainly through 8 or 9 games. Just still focused on general structure and so forth. It's just so hard in the portal era to focus on personnel. They've got good players. They're well coached on defense. The head coach is a defensive guy. I've been able to listen and hear, he's talking about the right things as far as how to run a program and what he believes will win and lose. I think this can be a tough physical game. And then, some plays, 5 or 6 on both sides will kind of determine the outcome. But we're going to need everybody there. We have to play with 12. It's got to be an electric atmosphere, this FBS thing. I'm wearing the purple today in honor of the
Mountain West purple,
Yeah, best P6 conference in the country. Yeah. And we're going to need the support. Right along with that, thanks to Halberstad's at the mall. Tim has been just phenomenal outfitting us, and we're excited.
I know how much you think of polls, but the coaches poll came out, which I believe you have a vote on, correct?
How'd you find that out?
We have people that do that. So, but I look in there, of the teams receiving votes, you're playing 4 of them this year. So Jacksonville State's among them. So, that doesn't grab people's attention already about the schedule is different. That should, for when I saw that come out on Tuesday this week.
There's got to be a burning desire from all of us to be part of all this national attention before we get the Sagarin ratings back. And people go, well, NDSU is 25th or 24th. They should be ranked.
Yep.
Well, now we have that real opportunity. But not only do you win, but how do you win? What does that look like to the general public? Is it exciting? Is the dome packed? Do we travel well to games? And so my first look at and being part of the college poll, it was interesting. A lot of spots I was only off by one or two spots. But you're exactly right. UNLV got votes.
Yep. Hawaii did.
Hawaii got
Jacksonville
votes.
State did.
Jacksonville State and New Mexico got a few. And I'd like to think if we can get off to a fast start, we start receiving some votes.
I thought the same thing. If you win that opener, that's going to get people's attention right away. Correct?
And that's all part of this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I know there's a renewed energy, but we gotta prove that with ticket sales, with the tailgating, with the energy that's in the dome. This is all cool stuff. Going to the NCAA football game, EA Sports. All the nuances of media day this summer. How fun was that?
Totally. Yep.
And the coaches poll and the polls are going to matter. We need to show up each and every week and play our best. 2 last things for you. The news that came out last Friday, and we talked about this when I was up at practice on Monday, out of the judge in Colorado, because I've had viewers ask me, well, does that mean Tim can go and add a couple guys? What do you know? And I'll end it with there. What do you know, and is it possible? What I know right now and where it's at is it would have to be a player that was on your roster last year from the 2022 high school graduating class. And he would have had to play all 4 years and eligibility done. Now it's not done. We don't have any of those guys. The next thing I know is all the nuance to all the new rules of 5-for-5, age, have to be in the portal at a certain time. So they're not going to open a new portal. And so that's going to limit us to add anybody as of right now. But I just have learned to keep your knees bent. We were flying around as a recruiting department late at night one night. I said, I want a list for this position, this position, this position. Not because I don't like the team, but just in case of an injury.
Right.
Because in theory now, if they would open up a portal window, we could add somebody and maybe they could be up and running by week 4.
Man. I don't know how you keep track of this, honestly. It's dizzying.
That's the part that's not fun.
No.
And I feel like we're getting some guidelines. What road we're on. It's not a winding road. It feels like it's coming. So that's exciting for college football because it's never been, better viewed.
Right.
Nationally, it's never been in a better position that way. And so I just would like one calendar year to be the same.
Well, I think we all are in that mindset. Last thing, this is the final week 0 this year, because next year that's going to be the start of the season. You in favor of that? Like you start at the end of July. That's going to be commonplace going forward.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. Because now we only have 27 days of fall camp. Right now we have 31.
Yeah.
So in theory, coaches' mental health matters. I don't know that we'd ever be in the offices fully up and running for camp before July 31st or August 2nd, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If you're playing on August 30th or you're playing on August 29th, basically camp starts 27 days in front of that.
Right.
So that is 5 less days But week 0 will still be, August 29th to 30th, somewhere in there.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
We'll be out of practice on Monday, all right?
Yeah, appreciate you guys very much. Exciting times.
Tim Polasek joining us here off the start of our show. We're going to take our first break. We come back. Bison quarterback Nathan Hayes going to join us on a busy Friday morning show up here at Bison Media Days. We're back on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike here, live on location at Bison Media Day. Appreciate Tim Polasek getting us started off the top of the show with a couple of newsy items there as we look at different position battles going forward. Obviously, QB is one that we already know there's no position battle there, but offensive line starting to seek out. Koe Okeson's name being dropped there. Young man from Bishop Ryan High School out of Minot, North Dakota, who is a tremendous wrestler that's really started to send up the depth chart. Noah Stummis, you heard as well, from Eden Valley Watkins High School, that has had a steady rise up the depth chart. Ben, if we could bring up the schedule real quick. In terms of the past standings from last year, and this is interesting to know because we talked about this on the show earlier this week when the coaches poll came out in terms of the teams that got votes in the poll. You see, obviously, New Mexico 9-4 a season ago. The Bison are going there. UNLV 10-4. Bison are going there. Hawaii 9-4. The Bison are going there this season. All of them received votes in the coaches poll that initially came out back on Tuesday. And the other team that received votes was Jacksonville State, who's the Bison season opener that's coming up here in 22 days. You look at the other standings in the league. Obviously, Air Force is hoping for a bounce-back year after the Falcons were 4-8 a season ago. Nevada, we visited with Jeff Choate about that when we were out in Las Vegas, was 3-9 a season ago. Wyoming at 4-8, and Jay Salvell's certainly hoping for bigger and better. They already have a couple of injuries to deal with on their offensive line. San Jose State opens. They also play in week 0 against USC to open up the season. They're at 3-9, and you see the two other new members with North Dakota State, with UTEP only won a couple of games a year ago, and Northern Illinois really struggled a year ago at 3-9. So you've got some teams here that obviously are hoping for bigger and better that bounce back in 2026. And frankly, how they struggled so much a season ago all stems back with quarterback play. You look at those teams. San Jose State's got a quarterback battle. Nevada's got a quarterback battle. UTEP's going with an FCS guy. Wyoming's going with an FCS guy at quarterback. San Jose State's trying to figure out what they're doing at the QB spot. It's just something really fascinating where last year when we were talking about heading into the 2025 season in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, how many known quantities we had at the QB position a season ago. North Dakota State was not in that spot. Cole Payton was as a question mark as Nathan Hayes is entering this year, but South Dakota State was turning things over to Chase Mason. Youngstown State had Bo Brungard. Southern Illinois had DJ Williams, who was back at quarterback, and some of those guys are obviously back in 2026, but it was a different feel, different vibe on how things were looking for last season in terms of play and who is going to be back at the QB spot going forward. That was intriguing to look at on a position deal at QB. Now, at running back, and that's something we didn't get into with Tim, we're going to talk about. Myles Mitchell is going to join us coming up later on in our show this morning as the guys are finishing up meetings now, so we can show you what we have guest lineup-wise for the rest of the show. We had Polasek here off the top. Nathan Hayes is going to join us here, hopefully momentarily. Bison quarterback, set to take over as the starter. Jackson Williams will also join us at about 9:35-ish this morning. Bison wide receiver, back for his junior season. Nate Tastad from Rolette, North Dakota, will join us coming up later on in this first hour. Sophomore offensive lineman after starting all 13 games, a red shirt a season ago. Be interested to visit with Nate about how things are looking on the offensive line. On our second hour, Dan Larson will be with us, NDSU offensive coordinator. Always good to chat with Dan about how things are looking at the Bison O-line. I mentioned Myles Money Mitchell will also join us coming up at hour 2. And we got some defensive guys. They're going to be here later today. Logan Larson will lead off our second hour. Excited to have Logan with us. I would expect maybe one of the Bison captains in 2026. Logan will join us coming up at about 10:30, 10:40-ish, and we've got a whole extra hour of streaming as well coming up starting at 11 a.m. With a few defensive players that'll be joining us during that time frame. Grant Olson will join us, Bison defensive coordinator. Taylen Eady also will join us. Gavin Sell and Victor Isele all coming up. That's during our special 11 to noon streaming hour that'll be exclusive on Inforum.com and on WDAY+. So that is the lineup of people that are expected to join us here today. Smattering of the offensive players are out here now to take photos and do what they've got to do. There's various promotional things that the players are responsible for here over the next little bit, whether it's the stuff you see at the Fargo Dome that'll be going on before a game, or obviously for photos during on the actual website, things of that nature. That's what players you're going to see them milling about here behind us, and other obviously media entities that are here today to also get interviews, what's going on. So far through the first 8 or 9 days of practice, just to update injury-wise, as far as we know, only a couple. Jet Zabel has been out with a boot, with a broken toe there that's limited him. And then the other injuries have been the guys that we knew that weren't going to practice during this fall camp. A couple of offensive linemen, Tucker Thieneman obviously, and Earl Brown are the two offensive linemen that are not participating in camp. We know Braylon Tolliver also out, the outstanding freshman running back who was expected to get some potential reps here. That's why the addition of Nyoti Puni was needed in the offseason, where the Bison went down that rabbit hole to add him out of the portal from Holy Cross. It was an addition they made on that side of things. So that's the latest there. A couple other sports items here to update on what we're doing there. Twins finally got a win yesterday, beat Kansas City in a tight game there. Got some good pitching from Bailey Ober. Twins were able to knock off the Royals, so they salvaged one. They will now make their way to Milwaukee. So no Corey Provis with us today as they open up a set with the Brewers beginning later tonight. Also, that Fargo U13 team, we had them on. Hopefully we weren't the kiss of death for them, because their last two games they really struggled with the teams from California. They lost 17-0 in their game on Wednesday night to the home team from Livermore, California. They faced another California team last night and lost 25-0 in 4 innings. So their tournament is done. I guess that means for Coach Anderson, that means he can make his cruise to Alaska with his wife that he was nearly going to miss out on, as he joined us on the show on Wednesday to tell us about. And we mentioned the Fargo Little Leaguers, the 12U team. They get started with play later today against Iowa. We'll keep you updated on that. That's going on ESPN Plus coming up later this morning. So that's the other news and items we mentioned yesterday. Obviously, it was the opening day of high school football practice. A shout out to our guy Mike Zier for joining us out of Beach. Thanks to Sam for filling in for me yesterday. We made sure we got that. That's customary to start high school football practices. They were off and rolling yesterday. We're out at Davies and Kindred and variety of schools. Everybody now into the pool of what's going on for happening around the area. So they are officially get going here with high school football practice. Come on, he's QB1. He can come on in and do this. So it's great to have. We've done this now twice over, so I'm not sure if good to see him. Good. Here he is, Nathan Hayes joining us, Bison senior quarterback here, looking dressed to the nines. You got you got your pictures taken or not yet? You got to do that yet?
A few already.
Okay.
I think we got a few more. So.
All right, so we talked before practice 1. You've been through 8 of them now. Give us an assessment how fall camp has gone so far.
I'm really excited about this team. You know, every day we come in, there's a lot of intent, a lot of competitiveness, and everybody just wants to get better. We're improving each and every day. We're kind of getting an identity of who we're going to be. That's a testament to the coaches. That's a testament to how much work we're putting in off the field, on the field, and yeah, we're just really excited to get to game 1.
I know how excited you were to take over and be the guy. How has that felt for you personally through the first 7-8 practices?
It's felt good. You know, guys are rallying around me. I'm excited for my guys. A lot of plays being made, and so you know, just excited to be on the field with my guys.
What has stood out in terms of playmaker-wise you've seen out there that maybe, okay, we saw a little flash of this in the summer workouts, but this is something we're going to be able to do maybe this season? Yeah,
everything we thought about who our playmakers are going to be, and they've haven't done anything but just stepped up. And you know, we throw out a lot of names, and you know, those names are going to be huge for us, and they keep making plays. They keep surprising us. They keep, doing what we know they can do, and it's going to be fun.
The 3 transfer wide receivers, Nathan, tell me about what you were able to work with them in the summertime and how that has helped when fall camp got going last week.
Yeah, it's been big time. Just getting a feel for who they are as pass catchers, where they like the ball, where they're going to be on their spots on time, how quick they are, how shift they are, how they like to get in and out of breaks. So the summer was huge for that, and it's been showing in camp.
Jeremiah Patterson is not a Raja Nelson clone, but it's pretty darn close.
It's pretty
what
close.
have you seen out of him, the transfer from Arizona? Because I was out here, he made a couple of one-handed catches, went up, and just his speed is also readily apparent when he's out here on the field.
Yeah, you compared him to Raja, and that's funny because in meetings we're watching film, and we're like, he moves just like Raja, he looks just like Raja on film. So it's fun, and he's a hard worker. He's picked up the playbook really quick, and he runs routes really well. He gets in and out of breaks like no other, just like Raja did, and he's been fun to throw the ball to.
I know I visited with both Mackay and Reese over the last week about playing with you, and boy, they couldn't say enough. Like, that's my guy. I can't wait for him to throw the ball to me. Tell me about your relationship with each of those guys and how that can manifest itself on the field this fall.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about those two guys is just our relationships off the field.
Yeah.
And just having, really good friendships, really good relationships with those guys off the field helps with on the field because, it's not just an on-the-field relationship where it's just football. Off the field, it helps us on the field with communication skills. I know who they are as a person. I know how they operate. And so, if I need to get on them or if they need to hear something from me, it goes really smoothly just because of how good relationships we have with each other.
How much are you paying attention to the guys up front? Obviously, I know you do, but in terms of who's going to be the 5 when you get out there, is that something you pay attention to, or you let that competition play out on its own?
It's definitely something I pay attention to, but it is going to play out. We have 7-8 guys who are just doing a phenomenal job. So I trust, all those guys, and whoever the 5 are going to be, they're going to have my back, and I'm going to trust them with my life. So, they keep getting better. 2 really good practices, these past 2 practices, and so I'm excited about the improvement that we're making, and maybe we do rotate through 7 or 8 guys those first few weeks to keep finding out who we are. But it's been great to see some guys who have been a little bit of a surprise that have stepped up, who we always know they could, but it's kind of starting to click, and it's been fun to have them on the field.
Scrimmages tomorrow. How big a deal is tomorrow for you guys?
I think the biggest thing is just to, that first time in situations in the flow of a game, first, second, third down, just in a true flow rather than, here's a play, we're going to go, it's 3rd and 2. And so I think, that's the biggest thing, the difference between scrimmage and practice. And it's going to be important for us to learn, especially, as we move in closer to the games, that's going to be an important thing for us.
All right, I want to lighten up a little bit here, because for people that don't know your background, baseball was baseball number 1?
Baseball was number 1.
So when did football say, okay, I'm going to go that route?
If you were to ask me freshman, maybe sophomore year of
which I may have when you were getting recruited, I remember this.
Of high school, I probably would have said baseball.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year was COVID for me.
Yep.
So I kind of, going into the field with the guys, kind of fell more in love with football. And throughout the whole recruiting process, going to different schools, camping, I love the work of it. And then on the field, I love, competing. 2 older brothers, so I've always had competition in my life, and I think football is what brings it most out of me. There's so many different things in football. You got to stay calm. You got to be the level head of the group. But then during the play, you get to hit somebody as hard as you can. So maybe a little less of that out of me this year. just to try and stay healthy over the past. But yeah, baseball was a huge thing for me. My 2 older brothers played baseball in college, so my dad always wanted me to play baseball, but yeah.
Now, were there scholarship offers in baseball? Like, had you gone that far down the road that there were schools interested in you playing collegiate baseball, correct?
I did have a few, yeah, and there was a lot of talks with bigger schools, and I told them that I was more interested in football, and so they kind of went different routes, but yeah, I did have a lot of conversations in baseball as well.
How much do you ever think about that? Like, I know you're the starting quarterback now, so I'm sure you don't, but like, if you chose that path, what it may have happened?
I mean, it's crossed my mind before, but I've never thought of it as like that's what I'd rather be doing. Yeah. This is where I'm supposed to be, is right here. So I'm happy I chose with football, and I stand by that.
What was the strikeout pitch? What was your favorite one? Like, no one could hit this on me.
My favorite one was just fastball. My best against your best, and I always thought my best is better than your best. So. That's
a typical pitcher mentality. It's got to be, right?
If I was going against another big recruit, I want 3 straight fastballs. I want to strike them out. 3 high fastballs, make them swing under it, make them swing behind it. So, yeah, that was my favorite one.
Now, I remember talking to you the summer you committed. You actually, in Illinois, you guys played spring football, much like NDSU did. How odd was that, be playing football in March and April when you guys were playing it?
It was really odd kind of in the middle of the season, because we would do like football practice straight into baseball practice.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's wild.
It was like football practice, early or late winter, early spring, and then we had 5 games. And it kind of towards the end of that season, we start going into baseball practices right after football practice, and then we'd play, Friday nights, and then turn around baseball practice Saturday morning. So yeah, the actual season didn't start until after we were done, but yeah, there was no off time. It was just straight into baseball season, so it was definitely weird.
Your guy McCaslin ever play baseball, or was he always a football guy?
He did not.
Yeah. People don't know Kelvin McCaslin. You went to high school together.
We did.
So.
We played a rec league fall ball together, and I kind of figured out why he didn't go the baseball route. But yeah, I mean, we were on the same team, but yeah, we would stick him out in right field.
That's where I played. That's the worst spot.
He made contact with a few balls. I don't know if he ever got a hit, but he definitely improved throughout the fall.
It's great to see you, man. Stay healthy. We're looking for you in about 3 weeks' time for football, all right?
Sounds good.
Nathan Hayes joining us here live on set. We're going to break. We come back. Jackson Williams going to join us, Bison wide receiver, about his 2026. We roll on live from Bison Media Day. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on this Friday morning as we get a chance to visit with, I can say, old man now. He's his 3rd year. Junior Jackson Williams joins us, Bison wide receiver, named the Mountain West preseason special teams player of the year. I know how much you think of preseason stuff, but that's some accolades from a league that some people don't even know you yet. What'd you make of that when you heard the news?
That's right. First of all, I don't know about old man. I'm only 20 years old. But yeah, no. When I heard the news about that, it's obviously it's good to be recognized, but it's just a testament to all the guys that we have on our special teams unit, because it really should say, my face is on there, and it's the returner. But all those guys ahead, like all of our blockers up front on punt D and KOR, it makes a big difference when they're out there creating the holes for me. So, yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to ask you about this. I talked with Donovan and Babbitts and Elijah. When the new eligibility model went through, were you paying attention to that, knowing, okay, I played as a freshman, now all of a sudden I have another year of eligibility? Was that something you were paying attention, and what do you make of it?
Yeah, I wasn't really I didn't really pay attention too much until it was actually put into effect, because I wasn't really worried about it. But, it's nice because I was talking to Donovan about it a little bit. It puts me right back at the end of the season, I'm going to be right back where I was at the end of last season.
Yeah.
So it is pretty cool to have that type of leverage.
Because I remember 2 years ago, we're talking, you're like, oh, I'm not sure, much like Donovan, I'm not sure how much I'm going to play. You end up playing the entire season of your freshman year that not necessarily you get it back, but it's almost as a bonus now, right?
Right, it is a bonus, and it's definitely something that I could look forward to and something that I have in the back pocket in case I need it.
Now, wide receiver, obviously, Jackson, we saw Bryce Lance is not here, Rajah Nelson's not here, Chris Harris has moved on. What did you take from spring ball, say, okay, I'm ready for a more enhanced role at the wide receiver spot?
It just definitely the amount of questions I got from the younger guys. I was like, why are you guys asking me all these questions? Should you ask someone else? But I guess they were looking to Makai, they were looking to John, they were looking to me, and they were saying, you know, how do we do this? How do we move forward? So that's kind of the first thing I thought about when they were asking me all those questions, all those guys leaving. But I think that we can take it from here and just move forward and maybe even go bigger.
How excited are you for a more enhanced role, doing more, being out there more on offense?
I'm very excited. I think I got my feet wet a little bit freshman year and then a little bit more last year, but just to really be out there and just really perfecting my craft and putting some spice on some routes and just being able to get some more reps out there is going to be good.
I mean, we've seen a just sprinkling of it the last couple of years. How are you going to say, okay, I can be out here 20, 30 reps and play wide receiver on top of doing special team stuff?
Yeah, there's been a lot of splash plays that we've had, and just seeing those guys before that have done a lot of that too. Like Chris Harris made some big plays. Yep. Rajah Nelson made those big plays. Bryce Lance obviously made those big plays. Just being able to step into that role and be like, okay, well, I know I can do that too. And Makai can do that as well. So just being able to be like, all right, the coaches are relying on us to make those big plays. It's really nice.
I'm interested in your thoughts as well that the coaching staff wanted to go out and add some more players at wide receiver. They had 3 transfers. How do you take that as a current player saying, does that mean we're not good enough? Like, how did you take that when, say, hey, we're going to go add after spring ball was done?
Right. After spring ball was done, they told us before that we're probably going to grab a couple transfers in the portal, bring in 3 new guys in, and I see it as, because we had so many guys injured in the spring.
True.
Where we were at practice and we were dog tired because we're double repping. We got 8 guys, so we have 4 guys on one field and 4 guys on the other. Yeah. So it's like we're going every single play. So I saw it as we have more guys in the room and more guys that are really good football players that can push us, and I think it's great, the level of competition that we've brought in, so it just elevates us higher, all those guys being in the room.
We got to see a little sprinkling last year, Logan Conklin, Isaiah St. Romain. How much do you guys say, okay, played as redshirt freshman, we're going to need you more now as a sophomore this year?
Yeah, it's a really big thing to have those guys have their head in the right space so we can, get them on the field, because I've seen the plays that they make in practice and the things that they can do on and off the field, and it's great, and I'm excited for everyone to be able to see the things that they can do.
Defensive backs in this league are big, they're strong. What have you seen watching on tape a little bit say, okay, this is going to be different than the DBs I was going up in the Missouri Valley Football Conference?
I think we're going to get a little bit of different coverages and a little bit of different reads for sure. But I just think that with the way that we played last year, it's definitely a different look, but I think that we can pick them apart the same ways that we've done before.
Tell me your excitement level for game 1. It's 3 weeks from tomorrow. It's here. What that's going to be like. First FBS game inside the Fargo Dome.
I think the Fargo Dome is going to be jumping. I think everyone's going to be out of their seat maybe the entire game, especially on when we're on defense. I think it's going to be really loud in there. I've heard a lot of the coaches and a lot of the fans say it's going to be back like we're in 2012 or 2013 when those games were huge and it was packed out every game, and I'm really excited to see what the crowd is like out there.
Last thing for you, I was just, when you went back home, now that you made this move, are there more people say, well, hey, I know who you're playing now? Like, it's not teams that I wasn't familiar with. Certainly in your hometown in Omaha, they know the level of player. Was there more notoriety or recognition? Like, oh, okay, I know what league you're in now.
A couple guys were like, oh, you're playing some real football now, or you're gonna, and I was like, all right, now I'm gonna talk to somebody else. I've been playing real football the whole time, but it's really nice. They're like, oh my gosh, you get to go to all these different places. Yeah. Like, it's gonna be really fun, and all those guys obviously talking about the video game too. They're like, you're in the video game and you're gonna be playing these big teams, so I think it's really great that they all see that.
Is the video game likeness close at all in terms of either your appearance or skill? Is it close or not at all?
The appearance is awful. The appearance is not even close.
Did they do the scan of your face or no?
I sent them my headshot from last year.
Okay.
And I look
close,
like
huh?
I look like a sucker got dropped on the floor and it got hair on it. That's what I look like on there.
How about skill-wise? Is that close in the game?
All the stats or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just really upset about my throw power. They got my throw power at 15.
They don't know your baseball background, obviously.
It's like I got the second least amount of throw power on the team, and I know I can throw that thing. So that's what really upset me about the stats there.
Last thing, baby bro is enjoying things at Penn State. How's it going so far for him?
He's doing well. He's talking shit, obviously. That's what he does. Yeah. He's getting all the amenities, and he's doing great. He tells me, he's like, I got some good reps in practice today. I made some tackles, and I'm like, that's great. Find a way to get on the field. That's awesome. Any way you can. Yeah.
It's great to see you, bud. Stay healthy. Have a great year, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Appreciate you.
Jackson Williams joining us here. Bison wide receiver set for a big 2026. We'll wrap up hour one. Bison offensive lineman Nate Tastad going to join us to wrap up our first hour. We're back here to Bison Media Day right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up our first hour here on Hot Mic Bison Media Day, live inside the NDSU Indoor Practice Facility. Please be joined by the pride of Rolette, North Dakota. Bison sophomore offensive lineman Nate Tastad joins us. It's great to see you. This time last year we were wondering, okay, maybe a chance to play, maybe even start. You started all 13 games a year ago. How different does this feel as opposed to this time last year?
I think it's a little different. I think even this time last year, I wasn't even thinking oh, maybe I could start. I was just kind of taking it one step at a time. And this year it's a little more focused. There's a little more confidence, a little more stress too. But I think that just comes with, it's a different kind of stress for sure. But it just comes with playing ball here.
Tell me about last season when it felt, all right, this is it. I'm the guy. You started all the games at left guard. Where all right, I feel right guard. I feel comfortable where I'm at right now.
I'd say it took me a few games.
Yeah.
I just remember the Citadel game, just being so nervous. That being one of my dreams to play. But
and pouring rain to start too, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, I'd say just probably midway through the season and into the end of the season, I felt like I was playing probably some of my best ball. So probably about that time.
All right, let's talk about the 2026 offensive line. You've got some pieces back. You lost two guys. What have you seen so far through the first week and a half of fall camp?
Lots of competition. There's 8 guys that we're all pushing each other. We don't really know how it's all going to unravel at this point, but a lot of good competition. Everyone's working hard, putting their best foot forward at this point.
You mentioned nerve-wracking. I mean, is it nerve-wracking? I don't know where my spot, if I have a spot yet. How do you handle that?
It's just, I don't know, just nerves of the season. It's a big deal too, moving up. It's different. So, just just continuing to push and improve is really just the biggest.
To have a guy like Griff back, Nate, how much is that a big deal to lean on his experience that he went through the same thing that you went through playing early?
Yeah, it's a huge deal. He's a great leader, and he just does a good job leading the group, and we know wherever he plays, he's got banked reps at guard, he's played tackle, he's played center, he can do it all. So he's been a great leader and obviously a great player too. So
how unique is that? I know you guys all have that trait, but to be position flexibility, go and snap or play guard or play tackle. How unique is that for other linemen that you know?
I'd say there's a handful of us that are in the mix at a couple different positions, which is good because you never know when injuries are going to strike, and what's the saying, availability is the best ability.
Yeah.
So being able to play multiple positions is huge, and I think we do a really good job at having guys that are comfortable at more than just one spot.
I know we chatted, the brother combination rolls on, a tradition here at NDSU.
Yeah.
How's Brett adjusting to life here, getting year 2 for him?
He's doing good. I think this is the best physically he's been since he's been here.
Wow.
Coming back from a little bit of a knee injury last year, and now like just watching him move around. I've known him my whole life, so I've seen how he moved when he was in high school, and now it's better, and he's probably 50 pounds heavier.
Wow.
So he's improved.
You were telling me that you guys weigh almost the same now?
Yeah, some days I got him by a pound, some day he has me by a pound, and it's like, I don't know, he's been doing a good job at the dining center, I guess.
When you came in, obviously you knew the Volsons played together, the Mostarts played together. What is it about this program that fosters having brothers play together?
I don't know. I mean, I'd say, for sure for the Volsons, like just that North Dakota pride, like that's the only way to explain it. You grow up in a family that wants to, support the Bison, and I think our program does a good job of recruiting in-state and just like pushing that stuff, and just, I don't know, it's a brotherhood for sure in every sense of it.
So yesterday was day one of high school football practice in North Dakota. What comes to mind when I ask you about that?
Day one. Yeah. I'd say
Coach Keller making you guys do wind sprints right off the hop there?
I don't know. we put in GT the first day all the time, so like counter pull and all that stuff. I actually watched a little bit of the film from the guys from yesterday, and I was just watching, and it's kind of fun, just all this stuff.
Well, that's always the big thing, obviously you played 9-man. Justin, when you were your first practice, there's 2 more guys on the field. You look back at that kind of laugh now a couple years ago when you were here?
I'd say it was especially different my freshman year because I came in playing a lot of tackle. So it was a position I'd obviously never played at all.
Yeah.
And just adapting. It's football at the end of the day, but like for me, it was the speed and the strength and like all that stuff that was more a struggle to adapt.
Tell me about Nathan Hayes, your quarterback, and now protecting for a guy that's right-handed. Obviously, you predicted last year Cole was a lefty. Is there any differences that go into that with a righty versus a lefty?
I don't know if we've talked about very many differences. Okay. Maybe just like in gap protection slide in a different way. I don't know, just boots and stuff. I don't really know. We haven't talked about it too much. It hasn't changed too much.
Expectation-wise, I know how last year ended, and certainly not what you want to do. Now the move up to the FBS. Give me your own personal expectation, like what this team can be in 2026.
I think our goal is to win the Mountain West. Obviously, we've talked about it, but now we kind of reshape our focus into, all right, take camp step by step and at one game at a time. But obviously, that's the goal.
It's great to see you, man. Stay healthy. Yeah. Have a great rest of fall camp. All right, we'll see you soon, okay?
Appreciate it.
Nate Tastad joining us here from Roulette, North Dakota. Bison offensive lineman heading into his sophomore season. We'll break. We come back. We'll start hour 2. NDSU offensive coordinator Dan Larson going to join us as we roll on live from Bison Media Day. We're back right after this.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 as we roll on live at Bison Media Day here inside the NDSU's indoor practice facility. Please be joined by offensive coordinator Dan Larson. We make this a habit of doing this each and every year. It's great to see you. Yeah. How's camp been going so far?
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's day 8. I think it feels probably like 16 right now. No, we're starting to kind of get into, working on our normal down distance, but now having a little bit more of an emphasis into our third down, which is a huge part, in terms of staying on the field. And so anytime you have to do those against Code Green, you got your work cut out for you. And so it's been a fun challenge, but it's been good so far.
Scrimmages tomorrow. How big a deal is that to say, okay, we're starting identifying who can help us and who's going to play right away?
Yeah, I think you're always trying to answer those conversations, who's going to come off the ball and do things the right way for us on the offensive line, who's going to protect for the quarterback. But, I think the other part of it is, who are some of these guys that we can, one-on-one situations going to make some plays for us. It's been a big part of our offense the last couple of years is be explosive, and how do you create those explosive plays, and you can't just throw it up to 5 or 3 anymore, and we're going to have to find some of those guys to fill that role, and how do we do it? So, it's anytime we get into some of these live competitive moments, and certainly when you start talking about a scrimmage format, those reps are certainly scrutinized for sure.
Let me ask you on Nathan Hayes, what you've seen, obviously from what you saw in the spring, and how that's either elevated or transpired here through the first week and a half of fall camp.
I think in the spring, I think he still has that mentality that I'm going and winning the job a little bit. What I've seen so far this summer in the beginning of fall camp is he has an understanding this is my job. And so there's been a lot more leadership. I think I think it's that understanding, like 22 days, like the snaps are real, right, and the reps are real, and that growth it has been apparent over the course of, I think, the start of camp, but I think in terms of his leadership throughout the course of the summer as well too. So there's been a shift since the spring to now, which is what you want to see, and we got 22 more days. I'm excited for that part of it, that we get to keep coaching him and keep helping him along and challenging him, but he's certainly stepping in the right direction.
You've seen your fair share of Bison quarterbacks. His arm strength, is it legit, is what people have said?
Yeah, and he had a throw last night in practice, kind of a low snap, and he just gets his foot set, and it's a 45-yard corner ball, like right on the spot, just kind of looking and throwing. And so he has that arm talent, and I think it's always that fine line of, hey, we want you to rip it, do it within the framework of the offense, but we know that we know there's throws out there that he can make, and how do we get the guys in the position to help with that part of it? But he's got an arm. Yeah.
I'm infinitely curious here. When we were out in Vegas and I was visiting with the other Mountain West head coaches about what to expect going into the league, what have you seen on tape that stands out from the various defenses? Like, okay, this is going to be, for fans that go to the games or watch the games, this is going to be a lot different than what they're used to.
Yeah, it is the speed and physicality that every group plays with. We had an offensive meeting a couple days ago, and I talked to the players like, this is every week it is a downhill Illinois State. I pulled out the film of us playing South Dakota in 24. Like, those linebackers were downhill. Yep. The D line was big and active and strong, and the athletically different on the D ends, interior wise, big strong guys. And those safeties came down and hit you. And I said, okay, this is what we're seeing every single week. And that I think that's the part that I'm excited for. It's 12 weeks of that challenge, and you challenge the Bison. We don't step away from that part of it, and that's what I've learned over my course of my time here. But it's a fast and physical league, and these guys, especially in the front seven, play downhill.
What do the defensive lines look like, Dan? Is there anything similar from what you've seen, or is it all different for depending on what team you're talking about?
Yeah, it is all different.
Okay.
But Wyoming's, their interior D linemen are as big as what we've ever seen. Incarnate Word in 22, they had that 330-pound guy there, right? They've got some guys with a motor and some twitch like that. Hawaii's defensive line is, pinned their ears back, and they're just trying to get vertical every single snap. It'll be a fun challenge. It really is. And it's why we have to practice the way we practice, and we got to play with the physicality and the mentality of, it's going to be a punching match every single game, and we got to see if we can keep swinging back.
I know offensive line never leaves you, so what have you watched so far through the first 9 days of camp, and what's standing out so far of the five you want to roll with?
Well, it's been a competitive deal, really has, and we've had some different combinations out there. I still get so excited about seeing the continued improvement of our young players, the growth and the steps that have taken, but I'm always reminded of Jake Rock. I'm always reminded of Hunter Pontius. When I got here and hearing Coach Hedberg, talk about Luke Bacon, just guys that stick with it and they just keep going. And it might not always be the Bison that people remember, but man, those are Rams that played a huge role for us at some point in time. And you start seeing that part of it, and Jack Lewinsky's continuing to get better. Nate Schnuckelhoff, guys that have been in the program, they're continuing to get better, and they might not get some of the headlines of like Griff Empey does, who's in their class, right? But they're still sticking with it. And then you got the young players that are pushing. So they've been really competitive. They are getting tested against a very good and active defensive line. It's going to be a hard decision, but that's what makes it great too.
So we were sitting here last year, and I'm asking you about a young man out of Buffalo, Minnesota, who ends up playing for you, and Ryan Babbitts. Now he started, obviously, he played a bunch last year. How much has that helped to get him ahead of the game for 2026?
Well, it has helped. I mean, just even him being in those first two games that he started, and the snap count and getting off on the pass rush, right? I mean, running off the ball in the run game. And there's still so many areas that he's going to continue to get better at. I love about Ryan is that we just keep telling him it has to be better, and he doesn't do anything but just keep putting his hand on the dirt and trying to keep doing it. So the sky's the limit. He's not close to it yet. I don't know if we're ever going to let him know if he ever does get kind of close. year 2 for him is going to be huge. It's going to be big for us as well, too. He hasn't backed away from that challenge.
You've added, I was talking with Jackson Williams and Nathan Hayes about this in the first hour, about the portal additions at wide receiver. They came after spring football. So you didn't have any work with them until basically now or a couple times during the summer. What have you seen of those 3 ads, and what can they do at the wide receiver spot for you?
JP, super versatile.
He looks like Raja Nelson. He really does out there.
Competitive as heck. Put him in any situation. He looks you in the eyes. Like, he's got that big body language that we're looking for in any of our players when we recruit him. And I think that was part of the reason that stood out to us in terms of bringing a guy in the summer essentially to go. He's got the right competitive spirit. Jordan is, I think, getting more and more comfortable with us every single day. And I think that part is, his best football is going to continue to be in front of him, I think, as he continues to learn. He's a little bit of a quieter kid. So, we're not a quiet staff. There's we gotta work through this a little bit. And I think Tochi's raw, but there's some upside there in how he runs, how he attacks the ball, and he's a big, long kid that's fast. So what's exciting about him is there's 3 years left.
Right.
So it's not just about hey, this is just a 1-year deal for us. We want him to be one of those guys that when he leaves NDSU, it's felt like he's been here since the freshman. So they've all brought something a little bit different. They're all going to have roles for us this year. Their role in week 1 will be much different, I think, by the time we get to the end of the season.
There's a young man who was walking around here before you and I came on, wearing number 81. I talked with him on Monday in Reese Kessel, and we had our interview earlier in the week of his development. It was another guy we talked about last year and he said, I was a nobody last year. He ain't going to be that this year. People are going to know where number 81 is. What are you expecting out of him now as basically the leader in that tight end group?
Yeah, well, he's got me as a position coach, so we're going to keep that humility aspect of it down, right? I think very similar to what I said about Ryan, he has taken this, taken the challenge of, hey, you can be a player that people talk about here no differently than how we've talked about some of the other tight ends that have come through this program that have left a mark. Challenge them in some of the areas that I think this is where you got to continue to prove upon, and he's attacked it. Don't lose the strengths that we believe in you on. So, how do we continue to fit him into the offense? How do we make his pieces within that tight end room with Caden and Luke on the line of scrimmage? Certainly blocking's never an aspect that you can ever forget about when it comes to tight end, but he does have a skill set that we're going to have to take advantage of, and, hopefully that helps in some other areas of defenses have to start looking at him differently.
Another tight end I'm looking at is Gabe Cunningham, who redshirted for you last year, who's a huge guy. I saw a couple of drills that give away the kitchen sink where he's making impressive catches in the red zone where I'm like, all right, I'm not a great offensive mind, but that would seem like a weapon to exploit there.
Yeah. And again, he's very similar to where Reese was last year. How do we take advantage of his strengths, not put him in positions where our defense can, maybe take advantage of a weakness that he has right now? We're challenging him every single day, and I've got a few extra grays here in the beard and the hair because of Gabe, but I love him. And he's got a personality that is, I think, infectious. I think he puts a smile on the rest of the room. I think there's a smile and a presence about him within our offense. He has a ton of upside. He's going to be a guy that our fans are going to be hearing about for sure.
We talked when you came in studio this spring on obviously the disappointment of what happened at the end of last year, and people only remember that last game, right? As a coordinator, they only remember your last call. How eager are you personally, just to get back up in the booth and call a play and call some plays that we're moving the ball out there for Jacksonville State? It is the hardest part about this. It is the hardest part about this profession is that when it's the finality of it, when it's over, and you only feel good about it if it ends with you on a podium. And certainly, I think the aspect of it was a great reminder for me. This is my 24th year of coaching, is how quickly that moment came to an end where I wasn't around Cole and Bryce and Raja and Chris and some of these seniors that I'd gone really close with over the course of 5 years with them. I think it's made me enjoy this group a little bit more. You don't know when this is going to be that last game. And the schedule obviously is different now because you don't have the playoffs, championship series to the certain level that you did when you were in NDSU and the FCS. So I think it's enjoying it. I'm enjoying this a little bit more. I think, we're excited for it. But I know our coaching staff we're chomping at the bit to get back out in the Fargo Dome. We want to certainly, have that be a better feeling than the last time that we were there calling a game. Last thing, Dan, when the announcement came that North Dakota State was going to be playoff eligible, could compete for the Mountain West Championship. How big a deal was that for when you told the team that, okay, we can play for a college football playoff this year?
I think I've been here 8 years. Anytime that you just tell our guys there's something out there and we can go chase it and challenge it, they don't back down from it. And it doesn't always, obviously last year was a great example. We don't always get to the top in terms of where we go, but man, our guys come back and they jump back right back in the weight room and they go right back out to the field and they start working at it because that's all we know how to do is go and chase it. So I think it's a huge deal for us. Don't put anything as a finality on our season. Just give us a goal that we can go work at and we can go chase after, and we can hold our guys to a standard that we have to play to in order to get to it. So big deal for them. I think big deal for NDSU and in Bison football. We're going to give it everything we got.
You want to give us the first play against Jacksonville State? You want to give us a little tip here?
Run or pass. Yeah. It'll be one of those two.
Really, I appreciate that. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this. Be well. We'll see you on August 29th, all right? Dan Larson joining us, NDSU offensive coordinator. We'll break. Myles Mitchell going to join us here as we wrap up our last Bison offensive interview. The defense going to take center stage coming up. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns live from Bison Media Day. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Bison Media Day coverage rolls on inside NDSU's indoor practice facility as we continue visiting with the NDSU offense. We got freshman running back Myles Mitchell joining us here after just a smattering of play last year. Excited to have a chance to get on the field this year. We were just visiting that off camera here about this time last season. You got here 18 months ago because you were early enrolled. So can you compare what you were going through this time last year as to where we are right now?
Last year it was just a lot to take in. There was a lot of different things that was being thrown at me. I was in a position I came early, so I was a little bit ahead, but there's a lot that I didn't know that I know this year. So just being in it a whole nother year, knowing the system, knowing how everything works, is definitely just helped along the way.
Did you have any idea how much you were going to play last year? You had to play in 4 games, so did you know you were going to get in, or was that a week to week? I may play, I may not.
Yeah, it was week to week until it got to after SEMO, after my 3rd game. That's when they were like, all right, we're destroying our competition. I didn't need to utilize those games in the season in the conference, and then I played in that last St. Thomas game. It was just week to week until it got there. So
I have not had a chance to ask you. You scored a touchdown last year in an NFL stadium of all places. What was that like? And seeing especially for your family back home, what was that moment like?
They were going crazy for sure, man. My moms, my grandma, my aunties were sending me videos of them watching it.
Awesome.
They was going crazy about it. But yeah, it was a fun experience for sure. It's something I'll never forget. But I can't wait till I score the next one. So
how different was it to play those first few games, then shut it down, and then not play again until the end of the season?
It was definitely harder, just like a mindset, in a mindset aspect, just going from, all right, you're playing, you got to be prepared, you got to be ready to get in a situation that, I have to do, and then compared to this year where it's just, I'm involved in it now, so I feel like that's a big part this year, so.
We mentioned that you're basically number 2 here behind DJ. How does that mindset change, even going back to spring ball and taking that here now into fall camp?
Last year I took it serious like I was going to go in as well, but this year even more. I just got to really lock into my preparation, really learning from him too, because he's been in the situations last year, so taking whatever advice he's got and listening to him, listening to Coach Jury, trusting the coaches, trusting the O-line, and just trusting my ability to do what I can do.
Myles, how different are each of the backs? Do you do something different than DJ? Does Nayote do something different than you? Can you describe what you all bring to the table when you're in the game?
Yeah, I feel like our room is deep. I feel like we're very versatile. I feel like a lot of guys can do a lot of things. DJ is a downhill. He's a physical back. He can run somebody over. You guys.
Well, we saw the helmet pop last year.
Yeah, for sure. He's a dog, and then Nayote's coming in. He's got big size. He's fast,
right?
Fast. Yeah, he's an athlete. And then you got Barry. He's shifty. He's agile. And then you got me. I can catch the ball. I can do everything as well too. So
how excited are you to show that off this year? You had it a little bit last year. It was like, okay, I'm ready to take a bigger role in 2026.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely ready this year. I'm excited to get my opportunity. I'm going to maximize on the most of it this year for sure. I'm excited just to get in the game and show what I can do to these fans.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you since all this went down. Were you paying attention when you heard the FBS stuff, the Mountain West? Was that something you like? I've heard about this before. Or was that something you were paying attention to when it went down on that Friday night?
Yeah, no, I was in my room, and then I got my friends sending me on Instagram. I'm like, dang. I look at it. I'm like, wow, it really happened. And then I went out into the front room, and then all my teammates, my roommates. I was with DJ, Jalen Archibald, and Xander Smith. We was talking about it for like 2 hours that night. So yeah, it was a crazy experience, and I'm glad we made the jump.
When you've had a chance, maybe even to look at a little bit of these teams on tape, what stands out defensively? It's like this is going to be different than what we saw a year ago.
Definitely just the talent for sure. You know, speed, size, and philosicality. I've seen it. You know, from a lot of the Mountain West teams. You know, I'm excited to play them this year. We got some tough games this year for sure. I'm excited for those. You know, UNLV, New Mexico is going to be tough. Air Force is going to be tough. There's a lot of ones. Yeah. There's a lot of big games this year for sure.
We mentioned earlier, you early enrolled, and I talked to you about right after you got here that you didn't get to experience, you know, the last half of your senior year. This is now more common. There are more and more. You got more guys doing it this year. What would you tell yourself even 2 years ago about making this jump that maybe you didn't know? To say, okay, get ready for this, but real life is here now.
Man, I'll just tell myself, man, just enjoy it. You know, capitalize. Don't leave no doubt. You know, just come in, high spirit, high confidence. You know, you're the same guy that you was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's at a different level, you got to still have that confidence and carry yourself as you're that guy. So I'll just tell myself to still have that confidence and just enjoy all of it.
All right, I was in your hometown. I was in Chicago this summer. For people, I don't know if they necessarily know how good the high school football is. Yeah, Nathan's from there, Kelton's from there. You got a bunch of guys that are from the Chicago suburbs or play in Chicago. Describe week to week what high school football is like in Chicago.
Man, it's a blast, man. It's fun. It's very competitive. There's a lot of talent.
There's some dudes, right?
There's a lot of talent in Illinois, and it's just growing. It's expanding. You know, the whole state. You know, we got eight classes, big classes, and I think they're still expanding. You know, teams are bumping up. Teams are, you know, getting better. Kids are coming in and getting better. So it's a lot of talent that's going around in Chicago.
Well, I've never asked you this. Was running back always your spot, or did you play elsewhere growing up before settle in running back?
I actually started on the defensive side of the ball.
Kidding.
I played DN in Pop Warner, like youth football. I played tight end, DN, and then I caught a screen pass. They decided to throw me a screen pass. I played tight end. They caught it. I caught it and ran 70 yards. And my coach was like, "Yeah, you switching to running back."
That's called great coaching there, right?
My first touch, and I cribbed it to the house.
That was the last time of defense, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I still play defense. You know, I played everything on defense, but you know, just getting on. After that, you know, I was mostly an offensive guy.
How much do you feel playing both ways in high school helped you for what you're doing now, or helps you certainly at running back, that when you were playing defense, you knew what to look for as a running back?
I really give the shout out to my defensive coordinator in high school, Adam Ziemba. He did an amazing job throughout my years, because when I played on the defensive side of the ball, I played linebacker, I played nickel, and he did an amazing job of giving us film and how to see the offense. So I'm knowing how the offense works from the defensive side of the ball. So knowing that on the offensive side of the ball, I'm knowing how they think and how they're seeing it from their side, so I can manipulate them and get my way into the end zone for sure.
So scrimmages tomorrow, how much you putting weight on that, saying, all right, here's another opportunity to go out and show the coaches I deserve the ball more, frankly? Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to go out there and just play my game, have fun. You know, I love getting out there competing. I just love playing football. You know, I know I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do this year. So
when you look at, we're in almost the dog days now, Myles. Of you still got 20 some odd days before a game. Describe the grind of the next couple of weeks of camp, because you're still a little ways away from playing that first game.
Yeah, no. I mean, our foot's on the gas for sure. You know, Jacksonville State is coming up. It's coming up. You know, it's right there. We're just preparing our mental, physical aspect of it, and then all the scheme, the schematics to it. It's a lot. It's a long process, but once we're there, it's going to be like we're just flowing into the season.
Where you see these freshmen come in, you laugh like, man, I wasn't that far away. Now you feel like, hey, I know what you're going through. You tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just seeing them, it's like deja vu. It's like, dang, they're going through the same thing that I went through when I first came here, and all the kinks and things that I had to work out, they're working it out right now. So just helping them get through that, giving them my experience so they can learn from it.
Last thing before I let you go, how potent, how explosive can this offense be, in your opinion, in 2026?
I think the sky's the limit for this offense. I mean, you got a quarterback in Nathan Hayes. He's a gunslinger. He can throw it all over the field. And then we got receivers. We got Makai Collins. We got Jackson Williams. We got JP that just came along. We got Chris Keel. We got a lot of dudes. Our receiver room is deep. Conk. We got a lot of guys in there. And then the running back room, sky's the limit for them as well. DJ Scott, me, Nayote, Barry, Brady, anybody that gets in there is going to eat. So I feel like we're going to be an amazing offense, a dynamic offense, and we're going to be explosive.
I've seen you catching the ball too, just coming out of the backfield. How much fun is that for, hey, it can flex me out and do some other things too?
Yeah, no, I played a lot of receiver or slot, tight end throughout high school and younger. I always caught the ball. I used to Odell Beckham. I used to love catching with one hand, so for sure. I love catching the ball. I used to want to play receiver, but I'm a running back.
You still do that? You still do the whole OBJ one hand around here? I'm sure you get a hard time for that, though.
Yeah, I get my one-handers,
Thanks for doing this, bud.
Yes,
stay healthy. Good luck in 2026, all right?
Yes,
Myles Mitchell joining us here on set. We'll break. We come back. We're going to flip sides to the defense as we wrap up our last half hour here live. Remember, we've got another hour coming at 11 a.m. streaming only. Back live on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Rolling on our live show here from Bison Media Day. Never say we never give the specialists any sort of love, as we got kicker Drew Klein join us here on set to be the guy here in 2026. It's great to see you. First, I haven't had a chance to talk to you since everything went down, so specialists stay tight. So how much did you know what Eli was looking, and was this a possibility when the season ended last year?
I think it was, he didn't bring too much of everyone else into it, just because it's kind of a personal decision. But he did tell me, going into it, that he would, if anything was going to happen, he would let me know. So he kind of let me know. It wasn't very much earlier than Coach P and everybody else found out, but he gave me a little bit of a heads up. And so it was nice, knowing I was able to make sure I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I appreciated that, because we were good friends.
Yes.
Because obviously there's not many specialists in the room, so we all stay pretty close.
How much does that change your mentality? Okay, you maybe had one thought, or maybe even looking elsewhere for yourself, that, okay, I might be the guy now in 2026.
Yeah, it definitely was kind of a bit of a shock, because after the way the season went, I wasn't really sure exactly what I was going to do. Yeah. It basically depended. I probably might have looked, but I would definitely wanted to finish my degree, because for me, that's the most important thing. Yeah. If football opportunities come up after, whether that's another different school or after college, that's kind of second hand, because I wanted to get my degree. But yeah, it was definitely good, and it's a great opportunity. So I'm happy to be here.
So now here you are. You're the starting kicker. How does that change? That's a big role for anybody. They certainly know the lineage of kickers at North Dakota State. Tell me about that. I'll step into that role in 2026.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change, but something I've been wanting the whole time I've been here. Because I've got to be behind and know a bunch of the great kickers. I mean, Griffin Croso was one of the most accurate guys I've ever seen, and we're great friends. Because he was here for 3 years. He was always good to me, helping me learn and everything. So, and then obviously Eli coming in, we're good friends. I still keep in touch with him a lot. So.
For people that don't know, Drew, give us your background in terms of kicking and how North Dakota State came into the mix for you to come here.
Yeah, so I started kicking my junior year of high school. It was kind of the end of my sophomore year. It was during COVID in 2020. Yeah. And one of my family friends, they had asked me to come try kicking a bunch of times, when I was a freshman and everything, but at that point I wanted to pursue college soccer, and once they kind of approached me again, not a whole lot to do when everyone's in lockdown, and so I went to a rugby field near my house, and we just kind of started kicking, and they were like, hey, you're kind of good at this. And next thing you know, like first game, it's a funny story, my very first high school football game, I had to come into the second half because I was coming from a soccer game. So
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I missed like I might have been the first quarter of my first football game. Had to come in, no warm-up and everything, but yeah, so then...
How'd the second half go?
It was good, yeah. I actually think I had a field goal that game, so it was pretty cool. And then going into my senior year, that's when I started going to camps and starting to get a little notice, and then I came to the NDSU camp, and I did pretty well. Coach Hentz thought I had a good camp, and then a week later he called me, I had an offer, and I committed not very long after that because I just loved the campus, and the coaches were all super sweet, so... And then I've just been here ever since.
You think about that now, how quick all that came together? That football was not even on the radar, and now here you are.
Yeah, basically went from not even knowing about football in general, like especially the kicking world and everything like that, to having a Division I offer in a little over probably 13 months.
It's almost now similar here. Now, okay, you weren't thinking you were going to be the kicker or even maybe finish here, and now here you are, you're going to be the starting kicker this year. You strive expectations now for yourself, how life has changed now mentally to get ready for what's to come.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change. I think every other year going into camp, I was more the underdog, so it's definitely a big change because I want to make sure I have high expectations for myself, but also I want to perform for my teammates and the fans and all my coaches and everything like that. So it's been very good because Aaron and I are pretty good friends, and so he's been helping me a lot, and it's good because he's been holding for me for 3 years, so it's very comfortable, and I'm just excited.
We've seen you kick a little bit. Give us your strengths and stuff that you've been working on in the offseason, knowing, all right, there's going to be a heck of a lot more opportunity coming this fall.
Yeah, I would say accuracy is probably my biggest strength. I have a pretty decent leg, but I've put on about 10 pounds since the season ended, just trying to add a little bit more distance. So I've added some yards to my kickoffs and definitely my field goals too. So I've been working with a kicking coach, and he's been up a couple times to help us out. So it's really good to get somebody who's played in the league and done this. So it's good to get some help.
Now, Bison are going to be going to some places that have some elevation. How much does that change for you as well, knowing there's just a couple spots where we're going to be high up that can maybe put some more distance on your kicks?
Yeah, the highest place that I've kicked in was only about 1,500 feet off the ground or in the elevations, and that was at least a couple yards.
No kidding.
So knowing that we're going to be going to places like Air Force, which I think is like 6,000 something.
And New Mexico as well is in that same boat.
Like the three out of the four highest elevation stadiums in the country are all in the Mountain West, with Wyoming, Air Force, and New Mexico. So it's definitely going to add, I would say, especially at Air Force, depending on the weather, at least 5 yards. So it's going to be interesting and probably can make you feel pretty good.
What's the furthest you've made a kick in practice right now?
In practice, probably about 55.
Okay.
That's at least with like in practice, like warming up, you can go back, but it's not as realistic, but definitely could push it. So once we get into those elevation games, it's going to be pretty fun.
I know our Sam Getzinger had Jaden come on last year when he committed about how big a leg he has.
Yep.
You've seen it. Can you give fans a taste of what's maybe to come this fall, of what kind of leg that Jaden Alawanga has?
Yeah, he's got a pretty big leg. It's sometimes it's pretty impressive because it doesn't even look like he means to do it. Sometimes it just kind of keeps going. But yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops over this year, and hopefully he has a great career after that.
I'm interested, Drew, for people that don't know, practice for the specialists, especially during fall camp. What do you guys do most of the time, and then when you actually get a chance when it's time for specialist drills to go out there?
Yeah, so it depends on the day, but if we have special teams early in practice, because the way we do it, we have 24-period practices for most of the time during fall camp. And if we have something early in practice, we'll go out beforehand, let's say anywhere before period 6. But if it's later than that, there's sometimes that we might not kick before practice, and then we'll start kicking during practice. But yeah, there's a couple times this camp where we haven't had anything till period 20. So we'll warm up with the team, and then hopefully the Coach B doesn't listen to this, but we'll go into the weight room and just kind of roll out and, have some Gatorade and just kind of sit around in the air conditioning. But so it's fun, and then you just got to go out and warm up a little bit, a couple periods before, just to make sure you're ready. But
now I've asked some other guys. I haven't asked you yet. Have you seen your likeness in the video game? Is it accurate? Is your leg accuracy correct in the video game?
I think the accuracy, yes. I think they did me a little dirty on the leg power, but
what'd they give you?
I think it was in the 70s, and I think it definitely could be higher, especially in the dome. But the face scan wasn't great.
Yeah, Jackson Moses told us earlier that's not even close. Yours as well.
Yeah, no, not even close. I think the funniest one I saw was Hayes with his mustache.
Yeah.
He's never had a mustache before, so that was funny.
The lineage of kickers, how much, when NDSU started recruiting you, how much did you know about that? Because there's been some really elite, both kickers and punters that have been in the Division I ranks over the last 20 years come here.
Yeah, I would definitely, because I was more into soccer and everything and NFL when I was growing up. So kind of like when I started getting into football was kind of when I started like opening my eyes, like, hey, there's a lot of college teams around you. And like, I had heard of North Dakota State, but I hadn't really heard of North Dakota State. So once that happened, I went to the camp because one of the reasons I went to the camp was because of my high school quarterback was getting recruited up here. So he went to a camp, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try and go to a camp because that seemed pretty cool. Because I think we were sitting in an English class, and he was telling me about them, and I followed Coach Gazer on Twitter, and he followed me back in like 30 seconds. Next thing you know, he invited me to the camp.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, once I went to the camp and started actually getting in touch with some of the coaches, when I started doing some digging, and yeah, there's definitely been a lot of great specialists come through here, and so it's a tough act to follow, but
it's what you sign up for, right?
Yep,
Going full
yep.
well on that. Drew, I'm interested for people that don't pay attention on this. That's no offense to you, but the relationship the specialists have, like how important is that to have a strong relationship with both the long snapper and the holder? That we got to be on the same page, or this isn't going to work.
Yeah, it's super important because like one of the biggest things that we teach when we go through like the field goal installation in the first part of camp is keeping the kicker or the punter in rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's like being able to be with them all the time, like during the whole off season and getting reps with them. Like I know that I can trust Aaron to get it down. I know I can trust CJ to give me a good snap back there. So knowing that, it just takes a lot of the, you're not worried about that part of it. So it's basically just like you're kicking, off your little kicking sticks. So it's really good to, and like Aaron and I have lived together too. So like we have a very good relationship. So it's just good to be able to trust them.
And for people who don't know, obviously you have a new long snapper this year as well. Just how has that gone with CJ taking over after you only work with Caleb in the entire time you've been here? Yeah,
Caleb and I were super close. I mean, we roomed together for 4 years, like freshman year all the way until this winter. So we're really good friends. But moving to CJ, we haven't really missed a beat. He's able to step in there and deliver the snaps that we need, and he's also just a good guy to hang around with. So
you kind of shake your head that two of the specialists are playing in Power 4 schools now, like Bowers at Florida State and Osix at Iowa now.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them because they were like, it's an opportunity that they wanted to take. So, and obviously I'm sad to see them go because we're good friends, and I just can only be happy for them.
Yeah. It's great to see you, man. Thanks for doing this. Good luck this year. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Drew Klein joining us, Bison kicker here. We're going to take our last break. We come back. We'll wrap things up. The defensive guys are coming out here. We're going to do that and roll on here on a Friday morning. Hot Mic back right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody, here as we roll on our final segment on Hot Mic here live at Bison Media Day. Please be joined by senior defensive tackle Logan Larson, the entrepreneur. Last time you were on, you and Sam were talking on your latest business ventures. You got anything else cranking right now or no?
Yeah, it's the drone now. Yeah, we went from washing windows with our hands to using water-fed poles, and now we got a drone. It's pretty cool.
It's working all right, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah. We did a lot of hard work. It took us this is a 10-month process leading up to it. Yep. So we've been working hard at it for a while, and it finally came, and we actually just cleaned a water tower not too long ago.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And the response, what's the feedback been?
Everyone stands around and they go, that's the coolest thing I've seen. Yeah.
We're going to need video of that. That definitely sounds pretty cool. Let's talk less cool. Football. All right, last go around here for fall camp. You're telling me off air you're feeling it now in year 5 after practices now?
Yeah, after about practice 8, you're feeling it a little bit, but making sure you get in the training room. No, it's been a ton of fun. The guys are flying around. Us D tackles are also moving around like I've never seen before, and it's fun to watch.
Describe for you expectations now, knowing a couple guys, obviously Jackson Dude never been here the entire time you've been. Now it's your time to play. Tell me your excitement level for 2026.
Yeah, super stoked. Go out there, have an opportunity to make plays, and that's where this offseason, I've watching film, getting there, understanding the insides and out of not only what we're doing in the defense and what the linebackers are doing and everyone's fitting, but now understanding what offenses are doing, what they're trying to do, third down, second down, short yardage. When you understand the game inside and out, it makes it so much easier to make plays.
How excited for you? Look at that defensive tackle room, yourself, Elijah, Zach there, obviously Keenan. You guys are all huge and all back. That experience, how well could that pay off, Logan, in 2026 for you guys?
Well, there's a lot of buzz going around the D tackles, and it's our job to hold up to the standard right now. We got to stay humble and hungry.
When you look at, do you guys all do something differently? Like just when you look at how different are each of the defensive tackles out there?
Yeah, it's crazy. Keenan's obviously the explosive. He's got the quick feet moving around. I think I do a really, really good job in the run game, holding the own in the run game. Same with Elijah Wayne. He's holding his own in there. Everyone's got a kind of unique, something a little bit different. Vandy's super long, get those hands up, pass blocker. So everyone's got their own type of, set of techniques, and everyone's unique in that way.
All right, we're a week and a half into camp. Can you describe how it's gone defensively so far for the first week and a half?
It's been a ton of fun. The flying around is the best thing to see. Obviously, there's a couple things that you want to clean up a little bit. When you get back into the groove, it's not always perfect right away. I think we found our groove about 3-4 days ago, and we've been flying around. It's been fun to watch the linebackers fly around. It's been fun watching the safeties. Darius getting after it. It's a ton of fun.
Well, I'm asking, you go against this offensive line. What has stood out to you, and what can we see of those 5 guys that maybe come 3 weeks from now?
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed the difference between the spring and now is they're really coming off the ball in the run game. I don't know what changed so much, but when they're coming off the ball and they get those double teams and they get bladed on you, they're moving some bodies now, and it's fun to watch.
For you now, being a senior, 5th-year guy, more experience, a leadership role, that seems to me comes naturally to you. Is that accurate, and how much do you enjoy that for this upcoming year?
Yeah, I think it was instilled, at a pretty young age, and you always want to be a leader. You want to have that growth mindset every single day. You learn the best from the most starts is where I learned it from, and taking what I learned, taking the good parts of it, and now I can help the younger guys grow, not only in the D tackle room, but as the entire team and defensively. And I'm a little bit more of a vocal guy, so it kind of comes a lot more naturally.
Is that a natural thing for you? You mentioned, but just there's a lot of guys who want to lead through example. I know you're a talker out there. I've seen you out during camp. Is that something you always had, even younger when you were playing in youth football?
The biggest thing where it started is my dad always told me you got to stand out some way at these camps that you go to, right? So the way that you do that is you got to be vocal when you're out there. So if you're cheering on guys that you don't even know, well then that's something that stands out to the coaches when you're going to be at these camps. So you got to stand out in any way you can, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and now I'm the best I've ever been at it now.
Look at this defense. What are your expectations? How good can this defense be in 2026 in your mind?
The goal is to be the best in the Mountain West, right? Going into it, you want to let up as less points possible. Obviously, this year it's going to be more difficult. You're playing a lot better teams. The biggest thing is that we need to fly around and get to the ball. The more hats that you have to the ball, the better your defense is going to be.
When you look at on tape, just I know briefly, what have you seen out of the Mountain West offensive lines? Like, all right, this is definitely different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up. I'm excited because I think there's going to be a lot more pass. I think there's going to be a lot more throwing the ball around a little bit more. It's not your typical Missouri Valley where they're running the ball, running the ball, running the ball. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of that, and the guys are bigger. But when you're starting to throw around the ball, Hawaii's throwing the ball 80 times a game. I get excited, right? Yeah, all of us, hair on fire, playing a lot faster. Because we want to sack the quarterback. It's what every defensive guy wants.
I have to ask, for you being a Twin Cities guy, this past fall, everyone up here got excited. So Moorhead was playing in 6A. Get to see what 6A talent is like. What was the feedback from back home going, all right, Spuds are, and now they're maybe the favorite in 6A this coming fall. What's that like knowing the team from up here has gone down in the cities and has caused some havoc so far.
No, it's impressive. I see the type of guys that they have. You see a little bit, you post them a little bit of the highlights. I'm watching them too, and I see, those guys can play some ball. I always talk to Austin Schultz about it a little bit, and I'm like, dude, you guys can really, really play. I don't know how it's going to be against, the Raptors, but no, they're the favorites right now, and those guys are legit. They got the 4 guys going to the U of M.
I talked with you when you came out as well, how good the level of football is. It certainly was when you played in high school. It's gotten even better, though, it seems, over the last 5-6 years in the Twin Cities of what talent is coming out of there right now.
Yeah, I think it's super, super fun to watch. I turn on that Prep Spotlight TV every once in a while on a Friday to, look back at the high schools, see how those guys are doing. But there's some guys that I've seen that are just, ginormous now, and there's some guys that can fly around. It's super cool to see. It's just now you got to, when they go to the next level, you got to execute now.
Last thing, give us a name of the defense we don't know that maybe we will know come the end of the season.
A name that you don't know that you will know.
Yeah.
I think DJ Volts is doing a really, really good job at corner right now. He's a ton of fun to watch. You guys have heard Keith Williams a little bit. He's hitting people, and it's super fun. But I think Obald did as well in the D tackle room. Has been holding his own. He's been having a really, really good fall camp so far.
It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Stay healthy. All right, be well. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Logan Larson joining us here. You can get out of here. We're going to wrap the show up here. So Logan Larson joining us, NDSU senior defensive tackle, and that will put a bow on things, at least for our hot mic on this Friday morning. We've got another hour to come. So if you want to keep watching, inforum.com, WDAY Plus will be your streaming home. We've got a bunch more defensive players coming up. Don't worry, fans. We've got plenty of defensive players we're going to hear from over the next hour, including Grant Olson's going to join us right off the hop at the top of our next hour. Bison defensive coordinator. You're going to hear from Gavin Sell, Bison linebacker. Taylen Eady, safety, will join us as well. All coming up. Victor Isele, Bison defensive end, part of a next hour we got coming up here. If you missed anything here, we'll podcast all this coming up later today at inforum.com and on WDAY Plus. Of course, we're back next week to recap the weekend. We'll see how the Twins fare down with their series with the Brewers and get you ready for what's going to be a fun week of high school football. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Our stream continues. Top of the hour. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then. All right, welcome back, everybody. Live on location here at inforum.com, WDAY Plus. Our coverage from Bison Media Day continues. The offense got all the love during Hot Mic. We want to make sure the defense gets its appropriate equal time as we're joined by NDSU defensive coordinator Grant Olson. We've done this as a tradition. It sounds like, by the way, a little production meeting that we're going to have Gio join us weekly through the season. I don't know if you're mentally prepared for that. I mean, we do it periodically. I might get old after a week. Every week we're doing this, man.
Well, we'll find something good to talk about, I'm sure. But no, it'll be fun. I'm excited for it. It's funny. You guys are going to be catching me right at a good time, and if we're still able to do it on Thursdays of just the process. And it's funny, just especially now after coordinating for a couple years, I got a really good idea of how I operate. It's like get in crazy early on Thursday morning, and I lock myself in my door and all that stuff. So I'll have some answers for you. Don't worry.
How'd the summer go? Did you have a chance to get away for a little bit?
I did. Yeah. Summer was good. It's fun. We're at the point right now, especially with our little girls, of like really starting to enjoy swimming and enjoying the lake and whatnot. So that's been a lot of fun.
Was this a shorter summer, knowing just the challenges ahead, or were you able to get away for the normal amount of time that you guys have in the past?
Oh man, that's a great question. Probably a little bit of both. I would say that someone that I'm very good at is like putting the phone away and being present. And truly, like that's a skill that you got to practice and you got to. It's easy to be on the phone every single day with other coaches, always asking a question about this or that. And anyway, so owe that to the family to always be able to do. But it was a good summer.
Could I date you? That's 13 years since you graduated. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is.
2013, that was your senior season. When I think about that, that's just is crazy to me of that long ago. But how often you catch yourself, and I know I'm guilty of this because I post all that stuff on Twitter, but thinking, man, that was fun. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it was.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I probably, in some ways, I think more back to 2019, 2021 and whatnot. Like, we're installing a coverage for the day, just even in fall camp. And I'm starting talking about Jackson Hankey or Jabril Cox or James Kaiser or somebody. And it's like, these guys have no clue who they are because they've never met them. But I'm like, you're going to know the Bison greats. If you play in this defense, you're going to know the Bison greats. I'm going to point out Derek Tuscon film making a great play. I'm going to point out Marquise Bridges making a great play. So anyway, that's where all of a sudden I'm looking up there and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was 8 years ago.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that Marquise was back to address the team. How big was that? How cool was that?
Man, it was awesome. I think he gave such a great message, and two, of just a guy that had a ton of success, but then also a guy that's like, you know what, guys, if I would have bought in a little bit sooner and I would have listened a little bit better as a young player, and just acknowledging he didn't have a perfect career. Well, I think it's funny. I think you look back, and I think you ask most everybody, very few people had perfect careers. You know, showed up day one and were starters and All-Americans. That's hard to do.
Billy Turner's the only one I can think of, and he was a freak.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, even all of our quarterbacks that have been drafted, every one of them redshirted. So anyway, I like telling that, especially to recruits, of just I want to play early and things like that. Like, hey, you know what? Sometimes growing and developing, there's nothing wrong with that. And to be able to tell freshmen that while they're going through the hard times of fall camp, I think is really powerful. He did an awesome job.
So we're a week plus into camp. What have you seen so far out of your defense?
Well, I've seen a lot of guys going and making plays. You know, it's interesting. At times we're playing really high. We're playing really athletic, and we know what we're doing, and we're flying around and we're making plays. And then all of a sudden, then the next minute, all of a sudden, we're miscommunicating. We don't have the right guy in the right gap, and we're giving up explosive plays. So for every big play we've made, we've probably also missed a play here or there too. And that just comes back to just continuing to hone in on just let's do our job. If Bison defense, if 11 guys do their job, my experience has been we're going to be really, really good. And we've got a lot of new guys, and we're getting better every single day. But that's our biggest challenge right now. We're going to keep cleaning up the MAs, and I think that's the challenge every year, but specifically this year with a lot of new starters that we're going to have. So anyway, I'm really pleased, but we've definitely also got some playmakers. You know, you talk about the D tackles up front, you talk about Donovan Woolen, you talk about Darius. Those are some big-time playmakers, and I'm really liking what our defensive ends are doing as well.
I got to ask here, tomorrow's scrimmage, how big a deal is that for you in your mind? Say, okay, time to start making decisions on either if this is going to be our rotation or who's going to play a lot this year.
Yeah, absolutely huge. So right now we've got some really good position battles going on, not only for starters, but also who's going to be the backup, who's going to rotate in. So live reps are always going to get counted way more important than just a practice rep, just because what do you do when the lights are actually on? Do you make the tackle or not? Because we're in a period where you run the quarterback down and you tag off on the hip. Well, could you have actually tackled Nathan Hayes or Preston Brown, who's a great athlete? I mean, shoot, he's gotten away from us a handful of times. He's so darn fast. So anyway, these reps are going to be critical. I'm really excited. If you had to say, give me two positions to really watch in the scrimmage, I'm going to be really watching the linebackers. Okay, what does everybody not named Donovan Woolen do? He's been proven. What does everybody else do? And then what are our corners going to do? Those are the positions that I think we're really looking forward to see. But don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to seeing the young defensive tackles and the younger safeties and whatnot. So I'm excited for everybody, but those are probably the two I'm going to focus the most on.
Corner, obviously, there were two guys that added for spring ball. Chance Tucker came in after spring. What have you seen out of the cornerback spot? Say, okay, because you got to find two new starters at that spot.
Absolutely. I think right now we're definitely seeing some guys that are athletic, guys that are really highly competitive. We've made some simple mistakes just because we don't have enough reps under our belt. So we're doing a great job. And Coach Amoko's an awesome coach, and Coach Williams is back there helping and coaching those guys. But we're continuing to work on, okay, how can we simplify things, and then what do these guys do well? I think that's one of the other things when we talk about, okay, are you game planning so-and-so, or are you game planning so-and-so? Well, it's hard to do that when you aren't sure on who your starters are and what exactly your starters do the best. So we're going to still always operate our bread and butter. There's certain things we aren't going to change about this defense, but game to game, depending on who's in and whatnot, we could be looking different, and that's okay.
When you look at the skill guys, especially a wide receiver, how much does that jump out and say, all right, this is going to be different coverage-wise for your corners than what they've had to do in the past?
You know what's interesting? I think that one of the misconceptions is, yes, there's going to be a little bit more speed in and week out, without a doubt. But I also like telling guys, I'm like, listen, we had to cover Bryce Lance all last year. We've had to cover Christian Watson on our own team. And then there's the Missouri Valley has had some fantastic wide receivers. You know, when you talk to a guy like a Will Johnson, who was at Oklahoma and USC, he told me all the time last year, and now he's with the Vikings, he tells me all the time, and I agree with it, the biggest difference is O-line to D-line as far as the high level goes. Well, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say we got a really good O-line and D-line. So I think we have a chance to come in and step in and compete. There's Division II and III wide receivers that have made it to the NFL way more regularly than D2 or D3 O-linemen, and that just shows you that everybody can find a good wide receiver. There's a lot of guys that can run and catch. So anyway, that's not meant to insult any one person. That's just a comparison of why are the Big Ten and the SEC better than everybody else. Well, typically it's the depth and the experience and the talent and the O-line, D-line. So I really like our O-line, D-line, and I think they're going to give us a shot to win football games.
Guy I watched in practice at corner, Marion Moore, I thought he flashed last year. Has he done that again so far?
Without a doubt. Yes, he has. You know, he's an interesting body. I don't know, he's 190, 195 pounds. We typically don't have that thick of corners. So just even setting edges and blitzing and different things, and we've been doing that for years. We'll blitz our corners and whatnot. But anyway, that's been really impressive. There's just a little bit of extra oomph when he hits something. somebody.
Linebacker is always I bug you about because you coach that position. You played that position. You mentioned Donovan Woolen back. Keith Williams came here, obviously, in January out of Cornell, went through spring ball. Gavin Sell's a name you've been talking to me about for the better part of a year and a half. That now expected to get more reps. Oliver Luck's back there. Obviously, Ray James hopefully healthy this season. Peder Haugo, Alex Elliott. Are these the names we need to know?
Those are the names. Those are the 7 names right now. And those guys are in a great competition. And I can easily see a situation where we play Air Force. It might be the 3 biggest guys we got. And we play Hawaii. It might be a completely different set of 3
guys you got?
It might be that. And that's okay. I think that's one of the beauties of having depth. Now, especially with some of the elevation games, we've talked defensively that you guys, you better be too deep. You better have guys that know what they're doing, and they better be too deep, because that's going to be something different. We are going to be really deep. We are going to know what we're doing. We're going to be able to fly around, and we're going to hit you. And if we ever have to simplify some of our schemes because of some new guys or whatever, that's okay. But we are going to do those things. We're going to play hard, and we're going to know what we're doing, and we're going to hit you.
See, that's so different, Grant, than last year. You had 3 guys.
Completely different.
Staley played, Woolen played, and Logan Cobb have been here for 28 years. That's not that's not going to be the case, though, in 2026.
Nope, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more like what it was maybe in 2022. We lost a couple starters. 2024, we rotated. And it's interesting. I know it's funny. I know I was criticized at one point, like, oh, you don't have the same Mike linebacker in every play. Well, we won a national championship doing that. It worked. If you got good football players in that know what they're doing, and part of it, too, I do like having a guy that's got a role. If he plays 10 snaps a game on 3rd down because he's the best blitzer and man-to-man cover guy we got, now all of a sudden that guy's a little bit more bought in, and he's got to keep working. And all of a sudden, I think that the team and the defense were healthier. You're not getting so worn down, and a guy's got a role, and he takes pride and ownership in that. And when I've seen that happen in our defense and on our team, that makes us a better football team.
So would you anticipate middle linebacker may look similar to what 24 was Kubitz and Wirtz rotating? You could see that again.
I could easily see that again. I could easily see that again, and don't be surprised. I'm like, Donovan has played all 3 right now, partly just to make sure that other guys are getting more reps. Okay, I really want to evaluate the Sam linebackers today. Donovan, you're not going to play Sam linebacker today. I really want to evaluate the Mikes. They're going to get a ton of reps. So I'm moving guys around to create depth, not necessarily different combinations, but one of the benefits is getting to see different combinations as well. So it's going to be, I think, a little bit by committee at times. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be a really big defining moment of who's really going to step up. We got a lot of live in, thankfully. Who actually makes the plays?
D-end, what stood out to you there?
Oh man, good question. We've been doing, I think, a couple different blitzes that we probably haven't done before. So if you're a film junkie and you paid attention, be like, wow, I've never seen the defense run that blitz before, or do that scheme, or different things like that. And I can't tell you what they are, okay? But I've been but I've been really pleased with our defensive ends of picking up some of that new stuff of different twists and stunts and movements and whatnot. But right now, you look at a guy like Anthony Oakes. When people run the ball at Anthony Oakes, good luck. Okay, when he's involved in the run game, he's a big physical dude, and I mean he's 260-some pounds. But in the same breath, I've also been really pleased with some of our speed rush. I think we've got good offensive tackles. Kelton McCaslin is 12 pounds heavier than he's ever been, and he's still got a really good speed rush. I'm really pleased with Sten Broughton and Victor Isele. Those guys are good football players. So we've taken a step forward in that room as an entire room this offseason for sure. And I'm looking forward. I want to be able to cut those guys loose. Ideally, right, the Bison defense for a long time has been play coverage and let the D-line go to work. Well, we've got talent. We can go do that. I really believe it.
I'm interested, Grant, from your time, obviously, at Wyoming. I know the Mountain West looks different from when you were there to where it is now, but is there any nuggets you could take? Okay, we're going to need to know this going into the new league.
Man, good question. I think some of the biggest things, sometimes what's going to throw us off the most is going to be new travel and new locations and what to expect. Getting back at 4 a.m, sometimes those are going to be some of the bigger challenges than anything. It's funny, I know everybody wants to talk about the Missouri Valley so many times, like you get in this ground and pound mentality. Well, if you look at even NDSU played with 3 wide receivers a lot last year.
They do.
We've been practicing that for a long time. So anyway, I think sometimes people forget that the league, our old league, has changed as well. And I know we're in the Mountain West and we're going to get some more air raid and things like that, but we had to play that in the playoffs. So there's going to be a little bit less schematical adjustment than I think what people are anticipating. And especially because, our offense, we have a tremendous amount of speed at the wide receiver position. So I think our offense prepares us like nobody for everything that we've possibly got to see, especially with the amount of schemes that they run. So anyway, I think we're going to be really good there. As far as other things go, I think honestly one of the biggest challenges is probably going to be altitude. Just we typically haven't had to play that. So that might be a legitimate challenge. I'll never forget being out at Wyoming, and it was my first week on the job, and I think I called my parents to say goodnight, and I was walking up a flight of stairs and I was winded. Well, that's new for some people. people. So anyway, that's going to be okay. We're going to be just fine. We're a deep football team, and we're going to rotate. And if a guy gets tired, get the next guy in and keep playing. I think we're going to be okay.
When you look at just adjusting to that, when you've watched on tape, like what stands out from these teams offensively, like this is going to be different than what we've seen before. Is there anything that pops out?
You know, I don't want to say that there's too much. I mean, certainly it's different logos and different uniforms. And overall, if you're saying is the Mountain West more talented top to bottom than the Missouri Valley, I'm going to say yes, it is. That's why we wanted to play FBS football. We wanted to challenge ourselves and compete against the best. So I'm going to tell you that, yes, the best teams are every bit as good as the best teams that we've seen, and they probably are a little bit better. And we're going to really be in some tight football games, and that's okay. I'm excited. I want to be tied up in the fourth quarter and it's a 2-minute drive and the defense gets a pick and gets the offense back on the field. I want those situations.
You have a pretty good memory bank of Bison quarterbacks. Where's Nathan Hayes' arm compared to the guys you've seen either play with or coached with here?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I would say of everybody that I've been around now, man, it'd be hard not to put him top 3 or top 4, and I'm including Josh Allen in that for the record. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to ever top Josh Allen. It's one of those, like, he's going to be kind of that guy.
All right.
Yeah, pretty dang good, right? But then you start thinking about maybe a Carson, or you start thinking about a Cole or a Trey or whoever's in that mix. I got to think that he's up in that upper echelon. He can really wing it.
What have you seen out of camp trying to defend that over the last week and a half?
Well, he just throws the ball into some tight coverages where you're sitting there and Coach Polasek like, well, why aren't we getting a PBU here? Why aren't we this? Why aren't we that? I'm like, Coach, that's a pretty dang good throw, man. Like, I'm not making an excuse, but like, let's give the quarterback and the receiver pretty good credit. I mean, there was an incredible play to Reese on one, and there was a great one to Jackson. Just a couple that I'm thinking about where it's like, hey guys, honestly, great coverage. And if the quarterback and wide receiver are that good, well, let's make them do it 10 times in a row. And if they're really that good, we'll be ready to make some adjustments. But anyway, I think that's one of the fun parts about going against great quarterbacks. They really challenge you.
Who's the top quarterback you ever played?
Oh, man, I'm just thinking through to some different guys. It's hard not to say the guys on your own team, just looking back on it. It's really hard to say those guys, especially between Brock and Carson and whatnot, truly had to play. Oh, man, I'm just thinking through the different years right now. I'm kind of Rolodex. Do you have anybody that will stick out from those years? I think of running backs.
Running back, totally.
I mean, we played against a ton of NFL running backs. I can remember that position a little easier. A handful of NFL tight ends.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm thinking the FBS games you played. Kansas State's quarterback was.
Yeah, it was good.
It was okay.
And they were all good. They were all good.
Minnesota, Marquise Gray was okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any NFL guys that I can remember that we went against.
Crockett Gilmore played at Colorado State. He was a dude.
Yeah,
he was a tight end. He was a guy.
He was really good. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's hard to think of them because they weren't NFL guys and you don't get that reputation. I know there are plenty of good ones though, but none stick out like our guys because of the NFL success.
Terrence West stands out. Towson.
Yeah, he stands out big time.
Shakir Bell stands out.
Yep, absolutely.
Those are the ones that stand out to me.
Those stand out.
And the Brightenstein kid from Wofford.
Brightenstein was really good. He was really good. Well, don't forget about Jarrett McKinnon.
McKinnon was okay,
you can't forget about Jarrett McKinnon.
All right.
Well, shoot, I know we still talk about they brought in Wilcox, and Wilcox played safety for the Cowboys. They brought him in to play running back. And we didn't tackle him. So anyway, we still talk about that. So anyway, that's
Marcus a hard time on that. He can tackle him in that game. So
even that, oh my goodness.
Good dudes
there were some great ones there.
Thanks for coming by as always.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to doing Thursdays with you on Hot Mic, all right? It'll be fun.
That'll be a good time.
Grant Olson joining us here on our live stream. We're going to take a quick break. Taylen Eady's going to join us. We roll on here from Bison Media Day. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Here as our live stream continues from Bison Media Day, joined by NDSU safety Taylen Eady, ready for big 2026. Had the streak, I think, 3 straight games with a pick to end 2025. I'll talk defense in a second here. Everybody, I think, remembers your older bro, how good a basketball player is. When's the last time you still hoop it up?
No, he's done now. He's in the job working for us now. He's in the work.
Well, he went overseas and played. How about you? When's the last time you've hooped it up? Anytime recently?
I try to do it in the summer a little bit, but summer workouts was getting me.
Was basketball ever something you considered?
I was more of a hockey guy growing up.
That's right.
I grew up in Wisconsin and everything like that. And I didn't want to be like my brother, so I wanted to do something different.
Well, tell us about just this past year. You know, we talked last year on seeing where I'm going to fit in. Obviously, you kept playing more. How much did your confidence go up as the season went along last year?
Honestly, my confidence went up a lot. Trusting what the coaches are setting you up to do and the coaching and all the work that you put in. The more you trust yourself, the more you can make those big plays, and I found that out towards the end of the season.
What was you're just making those, especially having 3 straight games with a pick. I mean, your confidence level had to be sky high at the end of last season, right?
Yeah, it definitely was up there.
What about it? Did the game slow down to you? What stood out to say, okay, I know what I'm doing out there now defensively?
Honestly, just getting your eyes right before the play. A lot of film study throughout the week, getting extra film in. Honestly, just expecting what's going to happen and jumping there, be ready.
I look at your position, the safety room, everybody's back. How much does that, especially have a guy like Darius out there to lead you guys? Jalen's played a ton of football. Yourself's played. Will Stiles played a lot of football. How much does that help to make this leap up in the Mountain West?
It definitely helps a lot. We push each other. We help coach each other. We hold ourselves to a high standard. I think our room holds each other to a really high standard, and it's only going to push us forward, only going to make us better.
I have not talked to you since the move went down. So what was your reaction knowing, okay, I wasn't recruited for this, now we're going to be playing in the Mountain West?
Honestly, I think everyone on our team is able to play in this level, and I think this jump is something that should have happened a long time ago, and thanks for all the players in the past. They've made it possible for us, but my reaction, I was just happy. I found out through my friends, and it's kind of one of those things where you don't think it's true, but then we had the team meeting and we were ecstatic.
Then it clicked. Okay, this is reality now.
This is what we're doing now.
Have you had a chance to watch any of the other teams? Like, okay, skill-wise, what kind of wide receivers, what kind of tight ends, running backs you're going to face on a weekly basis?
In the summer, we had a lot of access to the game, so try to watch the game, get a head start of what we're going to see, but definitely more speed on the perimeter and stuff like that. I think the DBs are going to get tested a lot this year, so we got to step up to the plate.
And Grant Olson was telling us that, you just went up against Bryce Lance, drafted in the 4th round in the NFL. Chris Harris, pretty darn good. Raja Nelson, you were going up against that on a daily basis. Right. How much that get you ready for what's to come?
That definitely helps. It helps you build up your confidence. Like, I'm playing against someone who was on the Saints when I was 18 years old and stuff like that. So taking that confidence against going those guys is going to set us up to this jump.
Did you ever beat him in practice? Bryce, that is? You ever beat him a couple of times or no?
If you asked me when I was 18, I would probably say yes, but now I probably lost a lot of those reps.
But just describe that as seeing a guy go off and have that kind of success. How big a deal is that for you guys to see? Amazing. And now watching videos of training camp, he's going out there and balling with the Saints right now.
It's amazing. He's a good personal guy. He shows you what type of work you have to put in to get to that level. So taking that in, digesting all of that, and then hopefully bring it into my own game.
What's your own expectations now? We talked about your confidence level. Describe now, like, I've done it, I've applied it, now I want to do it even better in 2026.
I want to start the season with the confidence that I ended the season with, for sure. I want to be a leader, make sure the defense plays as one unit, running to the ball, flying to the ball, and being physical, being the most physical defense in the country.
Look, tell me, scrimmages tomorrow, and I was visiting with some other guys about this. How much is that a barometer to say, okay, this is where we're at defensively? We're still a couple weeks before the first game.
Honestly, I think everyone should be flying to the ball. That's going to be a good test to see if everyone wants to fly to the ball. And then obviously physicality, you don't get to hit much in the summer, like to the ground, honestly. So really just throwing your body around, getting guys to the ground, and making them feel our pain.
You've gone up against Nathan Hayes for a couple of years now. What do we don't know about your quarterback that we're going to see in a couple of weeks?
Oh, man. I think everyone knows he has arm talent. Yeah. Everyone knows he can throw the ball really far, but I think he really trusts himself in the play calls and making checks and stuff like that and calling out blitzes and stuff like that. He's really smart. He's a really smart quarterback.
What was the reaction, I guess, for people, your family, friends around, say, her and NDSU was making this move? Like, what would you hear about this and knowing the competition level is going to be different going forward?
Everyone's been texting my phone when we made the joke, talking about, give me some tickets and stuff like that, trying to go to the games. But
sure, for the road games, right?
For the road games, they want to go to Hawaii and the Vegases and stuff like that. But, just a lot of support and a lot of people that put a lot of trust and work into me, honestly, just happy to see that we made the jump.
I've asked a few guys, I haven't asked you, have you had a chance to play the video game? Is your likeness, because Jackson Williams said it wasn't even close. Is yours way off too?
I had Twist at the time, so now I have Twist in the game and I have an afro right now, but I love the game. It's fun. It's cool seeing yourself in the game and stuff like that.
How big a deal is, like, I'm old, so I haven't played a video game in a while, but if you grew up with it, to say, okay, let alone you're in it, but North Dakota State is in the game. How big a deal is that?
It's amazing, honestly. Like, I think it's fun for everyone in Fargo to play with the Bison and stuff. You don't have to create a team. It's just right there, and you can do all the jersey combos. I mean, it's awesome.
It's a big deal for people your age. This is a huge deal, right?
It's amazing.
You got some tournaments going on. Has that happened during the summer when the game came out, or no?
I mean, I personally wasn't in any tournaments. I'm not the best player anymore. I stopped playing the game. But Ray James,
he's the dude?
He's the dude.
Okay, that's good to know. We're going to give Ray a call on that one, man. When you look at how, just from a 180,000 foot view, how good can this defense, Taylen, be in 2026 in your mind?
Oh, I think we could be amazing. Like I said, if we all click, play together, and then do play hard, play fast, play together, which is our mission statement, stuff like that. Honestly, I just think we could be one of the best defenses in the conference.
Is there a couple guys we don't know that maybe we should know come the season starts, or even middle part of the season?
Every transfer has stepped up to the plate, honestly. They bought in really quick, which is what you have to do to be successful in this program. And then, honestly, Jerron Russell has been making a lot of plays in the summer.
Big kid, flies out there.
Yeah, he does. It's amazing. Having confidence as a freshman.
Yeah, big deal. It's great to see you, man. Thanks for doing this. Be healthy and good luck this year, all right?
Thank you.
Taylen Eady joining us, NDSU sophomore safety, ready for a big 2026. Back, Gavin Sell, Victor Isele going to join us. We roll on here from Bison Media Day on Inform.com and WDAY Plus right after this. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Our live stream continues here from Bison Media Day. Please be joined by defensive end Victor Isele. Joins us as gets set for the 2026 season. It's already been a big year for Vic. You got married. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about that and the planning and everything. How'd it go?
I got married to the most beautiful, greatest, loving, caring woman in Fargo, North Dakota, in the world, honestly, in the world. It went great. It was a very busy summer. She worked her tail off. Her and her family planned a bunch of things. They did great. Worked football, obviously. So very busy summer, but very, very grateful.
So what was? Did you have any planning responsibilities, or did she have all that? You just showed up.
She had more of the planning. For the most part, I just showed up. But there was some times where she was like, "Do you like this or do you not like it?" It's like, I like it, or like choose a color. So, but for the most part, she had 99.9%. I had 0.1.
Were you nervous?
I was very nervous. I was nervous. I went on like 3 walks beforehand, just like praying, just trying to clear my mind. I was nervous.
How much of the team was able to come? Did you invite?
So kind of how we did it was really just a small wedding. So it was just like family, counselors, kind of those people, and then later, like after the football season, we'll throw a huge reception.
Nice.
Invite everybody. Dom's invited too. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All everybody. So.
What was that? Just to have that level of commitment.
Yes, sir.
Because, I mean, that's a big deal for a guy your age.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about being ready to do that and make that jump.
I truly think that it wasn't football itself that helped me get there. I think it was the men and football that helped me get there. So just like connections, meeting different men, just having conversations with them about. Coach B always says to mature early, mature early. Race to maturity is something he says too. So just really having good conversations with certain men about life and lifestyles and what type of man that I want to be and become. And just like aiming for that, which helped me become a better football player, a better man, a better worker, so everything overall.
Apparently you started a trend here because Trey Drake just got engaged last week with Avery Coonan. I know Alex Elliott's getting married. He's continuing the Bison trend of getting married during the bye week. So this is, you started a trend here.
I'm glad to be the first one to grab the torch. So yes sir. So we'll see.
Should we talk some football here?
Let's do it.
All right, well tell me about the first week and a half of fall camp, how it's gone.
It's been great. It's been intense, it's been good, it's been fun. I think the defense overall, like we're all connecting really well. We're all running to the ball really hard. Swarm defense, so it's been amazing.
You made a number change.
I did make a number change.
Is this a number it means something to you? Going to number 0?
No, not at all. It just looks cool. Number 0. Yeah, that's really about it. That's it.
You know, we talked in the spring about knowing, hey, there's a chance here to play more, reps could come more, and how excited you were for that challenge. Describe now here, the football season's here, you had a chance to play a little bit last year of playing more and contributing more this fall.
Yes, sir. I think it'll be great. I think, I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for it. It's something that we practice for, that I practice for, so whatever comes, I'm ready for, essentially,
When you have a chance to play more, how much, is that necessarily pressure, but excitement level, or maybe a little bit of both of, okay, they're
there's more responsibility on my shoulders this fall.
Oh yeah, I would say before it was more pressure, but now that we practice over and over again, then I feel more confident. I'm knowing what I'm doing in my calls and all this stuff. Now I think it's just more confidence, more fun.
When you see this defensive end room, tell us about what you see. Obviously, with Toby moving on, what stands out? Like we can be pretty good in 2026.
I think we can be pretty great in 2026. We have a bunch of guys who just fit the program very, very well. Like everyone's not the same. You got some guys who's better at run blocking, some guys better at pass rushing, some guys who better. Just everyone's different, but it all fits into one scheme and one defense. And I think it'll be great.
The amount of time you got to play last year, how much did that help your own confidence for this season?
It helped a lot. It helped a lot. Just knowing like what, I guess, game tempo and true game speed looks like, and what to expect versus kind of going out there kind of cold. So it's helped a bunch. It's been great.
I was visiting with Grant Olson before you came on. Scrimmages tomorrow. Expectation-wise for that okay, it's a chance to really go out and show the coaches, hey, I deserve to play more this fall.
Yes, sir. It's a great opportunity. To me, my mindset should stay calm. It's another practice, work hard. I do this every single day. So.
Now, you're a married guy. I can't imagine you have time for video games because that's obviously the big thing.
Yeah,
have you heard about that? Have you heard about you in the video game yet?
Yeah, no, I have heard about that. I do not have time for video games. I haven't had time for that. Just been building stuff at the home, building dressers or the bed frames, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
so
you are, man. You are a married man. You're doing that stuff.
After
man.
this, I'm going home. I'm going to build our bedroom dresser. So
good luck. You asked for advice. That I will say good luck with. After doing that stuff, man, that's harder than anything you're going to do out here. I'll tell you that. But and serious though, you've made that. Does that make this not necessarily playtime, but that is real? This is I always call the toy department.
Yeah, I think it gives me just a bigger perspective on life.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy, like especially in fall camp, you're so focused on football, getting my first step right, like the playbook wise. But I think it actually gives me a chance to actually like relax a little bit and be like, life is so much bigger than this. Okay, I missed a tackle, but so what? I get to go back home to my amazing wife, and she made me a nice meal or something. I get to just relax. So I think it actually takes a lot of pressure off of me, just being like, okay, football. Obviously, I love it. So it's an important sport. It's good. It's a fun sport. But it's not the top thing. It's not the number one thing. So.
How does a bigger role, more experience, a leadership role suit you? Now people are looking up to you because you've been here for 4 years.
Absolutely. I've been here for 4 years, and especially when I got married, everyone's calling me Unc now and asking me for advice. I think it fits me well. I'm really I'm more the type of guy to like lead by example, and I'm not going to tell you to do something that I'm not doing personally. So that's kind of what my role is.
When you see there are a couple guys, Vic, we don't know yet defensively that maybe we will know by the end of the year. Any names pop out that have impressed you so far during camp?
Yeah, I would say I think Alante Burley's doing great things in the past rush-wise, so I think he'll do great. Yeah, shout out Alante. I think he'll do great. I think he'll do great things this season also. So.
How excited are you for this competition level to be up as well? This is a new level of what you faced before.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think the whole entire team is excited. There's no fear in any of us. We're all excited for this. It's not even a challenge. For us, it's just an opportunity to prove ourselves, to show ourselves. So that's how we're all looking at it.
It's great to see you. Congratulations on your married man. Great to see you.
Sir.
Be well, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
Victor Isele joining us here, Bison defensive end. We'll break much more on our live show here on WDAY Plus and Inform.com right after this.
Awesome.
Welcome back, everybody, here on Bison Media Day on WDAY Plus and Inform.com. We roll on. Please be joined by redshirt freshman. I don't know if I can say redshirt freshman. There are no redshirt freshmen anymore. Sophomore linebacker Gavin Sell joins us. He still has 4 years of eligibility. It's great to see you, man. We were just visiting off camera about this time last year, true freshman and thrown in. Then you got hurt. Just tell me how different fall camp feels this time opposed to the last year.
Last year it almost felt like I was just going through the motions, just trying to get through it. But this year it's just like locking in on your keys. I mean, you got a lot of jobs and assignments to do. I mean, a lot to think about, but like also the workload that you dream of, that you want. So I'm really just excited for this year, and I feel like I've been working, and I'd say that's really it.
You got to play at the end of last year. I know maybe not as much as you wanted to, but you got out there. How much has that experience helped for going forward now for this year?
It actually meant the world to me. Just seeing how the Bison operate, seeing how everybody does stuff. I mean,
it meant the world to me. I mean, there's not much else you can ask for. I feel like I was in the perfect position, put me in for 2 games. I mean, I got to see what it's like to be a college football player for the first time. So, I mean, I was really excited.
What was it like running out there on special teams for the first time?
Wow. That playoff game against Illinois State, I mean, sad how it lost. I mean, devastated about that. But the work that you put in pays off. And I'm really just excited to see what happens this year. And running out, blocking people, I mean, that's all I was meant for last year, but I'm hoping it changes this year.
Coach Olson has told me your name has come up constantly when I'm talking about linebacker. What does that mean, knowing that he has high expectations for you and you have maybe a potential to start this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about starting right now. I feel like the linebacker room is just the tightest it's ever been, and I'm so excited about that. But I feel like me and Coach Olson have a lot in common, and I feel like he's preached that to me. But I feel like we're the 2 most competitive people on the field, and I feel like it really shows. So I'd say that's really it.
How much does that help on the field, that competitive attitude to have out there to go out there and
That's
perform?
huge. And even that your coach is also competitive, I mean, you know what to do in those moments. You know, like, when to be smart and when to be, all right, I'm going to go hit you right now. You know what I'm saying?
How much have you tried not to put too much pressure on yourself through the first 8 or 9 practice, knowing more eyes are on you to say, you know, perform well, you're going to play?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of pressure on me. Coming in, I feel like I'm still just a young guy, but I feel like I need to step up. And Coach Polasek talks about erased maturity.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really took that to heart. And ever since I came in, I feel like I've just been trying to mature, trying to follow these older dudes. I feel like I've handled the pressure pretty well.
When you look at Gavin last year, I was talking with Gio about this. Basically, 3 guys played linebacker. That's not going to be the case. How different is the room knowing each of you guys bring a little bit something different when you're out there on the field?
I feel like that helps a lot. I feel like schematically, I mean, teams have to prepare for 6 other dudes, and I feel like all of us know that we all can play, we all can be starters, but we all bring something else to the table, and I feel like that's really just connected us throughout the fall camp, also the summer as well.
I know I had you on my show when you committed. Can you tell people your recruiting story? You came up here and basically that was that, right?
I was really under-recruited in high school. I was like, is football really my thing? I was like, all right. Came to camp here my freshman and sophomore year as a wide receiver. I was like, all right, I'm not getting recruited. And then Coach Olson came in March to watch me work out. He's like, all right, I'm going to invite you to camp. I'm like, okay, still no offer, all right. So I came to camp. And the fun fact is, my first Indy, I went to the wide receiver group. And the recruiting coordinator at the time came, grabbed me, brought me over to Dakota Field, and guess who's waiting for me? Coach Polasek.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? You should be over here the whole time. I'm like, okay. So I did my first rep, and he's like, that's the best rep I've seen all day. I was like, okay, that's summer relief. So really just being under-recruited, I feel like that has helped a lot and motivated me. So I'd say just that.
How much, Gavin, has it helped the amount of Wisconsin guys that are up here? Is that not necessarily, you're not super far from home, but the fact that there's over 30 guys from the state of Wisconsin helped that on that fact?
The Wisconsin guys are really close, and it also helps that the head coach is a Wisconsin guy as well. So just us really being connected. I feel like we all just mix really well. There's not really much else you can say about it, but just Wisconsin brings the fire, I'll say that.
When you look at the move to the Mountain West, granted you've only played the 1 year, but now the certainly the competition level is going to be different than what you're used to. For sure. Tell me your excitement level or just interest level. Like, okay, this is going to be way different in preparing.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of is it's the real deal. It's time to step up. It's time to mature. And really just looking up to guys like number 1 over there, Donnie. He's been through it, so I look up to him a lot, and he knows what to do, what not to do. So just really looking up to guys, trying to help them, help me. So there's not much else you can say there, but just looking up to number 1 over there.
All right, I've been asking. I'm an old guy here. I don't play video games. Is that a thing? How big a deal was that for you when the NDSU was in the college football game?
I got 2 little cousins, and to tell them that I was in a video game, just seeing their excitement on their face, that really meant something to me. It really hit me in the heart to just say, all right, I'm in a video game now. Like, this is insane. Is this real life? Like,
is it accurate for you, or way off?
I think it's way off, but I'm still just a young guy, and I haven't done really anything for this program yet. So I got a lot to prove and a lot to mature. So
I would ask you that as well. For your class, there's going to be a way more expected this year. How much does that bond you guys knowing, okay, we came in with some pretty high expectations. Now it's time to deliver on that.
Yeah. Our class is, I'd say, one of the closest classes here, but some people could tell me wrong, but really just working with those guys and like you know who's gonna play. So really just connecting with those guys in the off season. You know, me and Marion, we're both from Wisconsin. I'd say me and him are really close. And even in practices, like I've seen him mess up. I'm like, all right, 10 push-ups on the sideline, let's go. It's our time to step up, time to mature. And he does the same thing for me. It's really just that bond.
I'm interested, Gavin, going against this offense on a day-to-day basis. What is that like? And knowing facing the quarterback that you're facing in Nathan Hayes, how much does that prep you for what's to come?
Yeah, I'd say props to Dan Larson as well. I don't know if you know, but he's from my hometown as well. But he draws up great schemes. I mean, going against guys like Caden Zenzen, Kokat. I mean, going against
Kessel,
those guys,
I don't know how you stop that guy.
Going against those guys every day, I feel like has really prepped me. And then also Hayes' preparation, I feel like is also it's hard going against those guys every day. So
last thing, and this is real important here, number change. Is this the number you always wore? And how big is that to go number 3?
I'd say it's huge, but I still got to earn this. You know, me and Coach Olson talk about it a lot. He said, I'm going to put a 6 in front of that number if you don't perform. So I'm like, all right, we got some pressure on me.
Because single digits are the dudes, right? That normally goes with it, right?
So I feel like I still got to earn this number, but I wore 83 in high school my freshman year, and then I was 3 all throughout. And so 3 has also stuck with me since my youth. So I just say, I got to earn this still. So I got a lot of work to do still.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming by and being healthy. Good luck this year, all right?
Thank you.
Gavin Sell joining us here, Bison, sophomore linebacker. We'll take one last break, one more guest to come. We'll wrap things up here from Bison Media Day right after this.
So no swearing.
Welcome back, everybody. We're wrapping things up at Bison Media Day here on our stream on WDAY Plus, Inforum.com with the pride of Fargo North, linebacker Peder Haugo joins us. First off, the last time I saw you were caddying. You were caddying out at the Ram. Give us the backstory on that.
Yeah, so I live with Sean Moore. He's one of my roommates, and I don't think he had anybody up in town. I mean, his family's from Arizona, so his parents obviously couldn't make it up for the tournament. He was like, hey, do you want to carry my bag around for the weekend? I was like, sure. So carried the bag around for him, and you know, I felt like I was playing some pretty good golf, and I think that Monday I went out and I played around, and I had a quick reality check pretty soon. I think right off the first tee I had a little slice. I was like,
does that count to tell Coach Olson you got your workout in because you were caddying in pretty good heat for 3 straight days?
Yeah, it was hot. I think probably had 20,000 steps a day.
You got your steps in, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Was golf something you entertained? Because you played a ton of sports, I know, in high school.
No, I love golf. You know, it's a good pastime just to play with the friends and family, and you know, I've been getting better over the last couple of years. So
there you go. So I can remember a couple of years ago being here at fall camp and seeing you run around at a couple of positions. Obviously, it ended up being running back in 2024. Now, full-fledged linebacker. How much different does this feel as opposed to even the last year where you were still trying to figure out linebacker again?
Yeah. No, it's a much different feel. Just having like a complete year under my belt and getting a whole year to learn behind Logan and Nathaniel, which are obviously 2 great players, and you know, new opportunities this year, which is exciting. There's a lot of unproven guys in the room, and you know, there's a lot of spots and packages and different situations that are out there for the taking. So it's really exciting.
Well, we just had Gavin join us here. Another guy who's right in that mix as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, there was basically 3 guys that played linebacker last year. That's not going to be the case this season. How exciting is that? There are reps out there to be earned.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You know, it's super exciting to get to cheer on your teammates too, and you know, get to see their strengths and how they play off of you. It's a cool experience. You know, it's also hard sometimes when, you know, maybe you had a bad practice and they had a great practice, but you just got to remember, it's a team sport, and I'd rather have a win in the column than a great stats or great
I know.
plays.
Last year too, you got dinged up during fall camp. How much you feel that stunted things, that slowed things down for you?
No, it definitely hindered me a little bit. I think I was out maybe 2 weeks of good practice, and I was wearing the knee brace all year, which I felt like hindered me a little bit. So it wasn't ideal, but at the same time, it gave me more time to reflect and really pay attention to how Logan operates and learn behind him.
You got in last year. You got your first career pick.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was pretty insane. I think the ball was just tipped up and I saw it in the air. I was like, shoot, I'm going to go grab it. So that was pretty exciting. And, I wish I would have been able to get my touchdown back, because I know freshman year I had a few runs.
Touchdown call back, yes.
I had a few runs that, I thought I should have been in the end zone. So it was cool to, finally have a big stat on the board.
Do the defensive guys still give you a hard time about your running back?
Oh, yeah. Coach Olson always gives me a tough time, when we're watching the film and maybe one of the big O guys makes not a great play, or maybe he's being a little soft on the play. He's like, hey, these are your friends, Peder. Or he'll make some comment like that, which is always a good time.
What about this defense stands out, Peder, that we could be pretty good in 2026?
We're really fast this year. We have a lot of D-backs who are out there flying around. I know DJ's, man, I think he's hitting 21, 22 miles an hour. Darius is obviously a guy who has his head on straight and knows where the ball is going. So I think you just expect a ton of guys who are just flying to the football and playing fast and playing for each other.
I know when you committed, we talked about the level of football, specifically in the city of Fargo, yourself playing, Oliver's playing. You got a bunch of guys here from just the city limits that are contributing.
Yeah.
How big a deal is that for you?
Yeah, it's a really big deal. Growing up, there weren't a ton of Fargo players that were playing. I think Ty Brooks was probably obviously the most prominent guy, but it's awesome to see Reese stepping up, making big plays. Ollie and I getting some bigger roles this year, and it means a lot to have some hometown kids, representing for NDSU.
So South doesn't play at the big level, but is there still trash talking between the South Davies and North guy going
100%.
on?
We just had a little camera out in front of practice the other day, and Dudzik had us shout out your hometown high school, and we were all in it together, kind of chirping each other. So it definitely the high school blood goes back. So
you had the biggest of highs. You had a chance to win a state championship, played at the Fargo Dome. How big of an experience was that? And now you're playing your college football at the Fargo Dome.
Yeah, it's super special. I think one moment that really sticks out to me is after the state championship game, we were walking back to Fargo North from the Fargo Dome, and it was like 2 blocks, and I was just like, wow, I get to play my collegiate football career 2 blocks from where I played high school. And I don't think there's probably any other FBS player in the country that has that same experience. So it's super special.
That hit on that when you think about that now that you're playing?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, yeah, I'm probably the one player in the country who gets to say that. So
that's remarkable. When you think about just the level of play here, you still get a chance to follow the Spartans every now and then, or no?
Yeah, maybe this year with the travel schedule, it'll
be a little harder. Yeah.
It'll be a little more tough, but I try to get over to at least 1 or 2 games when we're at home and just support the guys, go and see some familiar faces. So
how much do maybe the North Dakota guys especially take some pride in that gets overlooked? It's not Florida, it's not California, it's not Texas, but there's more FBS guys coming out of North Dakota than there ever has been. I look at the class of 27 right now, there's 8 guys that are going to be playing FBS football next year.
Yeah, that's wild. I take a ton of pride in North Dakota football, and I think per capita we're pretty solid. I mean, we got some big players, and produce a ton of O-line, NFL talent, and it's super cool to see a ton of guys putting on for the state of North Dakota. So
now that you're going to be playing the Mountain West, have you let that? I know it's sunk in, but now it's almost here. When I say that, what goes through your mind?
Just opportunity to raise the program to a place it's never been, and just excitement. I mean, I'm super excited to get to play at a level I think I'd get to play at, and to play in a super cool conference that's on the West Coast with some super cool road trips like Hawaii and UNLV, and we get to go to California twice. I mean, it's pretty special.
So the fam started bugging for tickets?
Yeah.
It's found I'm assuming Vegas and Hawaii, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
right?
my parents are taking a little vacation, just those two, to Hawaii.
Conveniently, those two, right?
Exactly.
It's great to see you. Good luck. Stay healthy this year. Appreciate the time, all right?
Thank you, Don.
Fargo North's Peder Haugo joining us here. That's going to wrap up our coverage of Bison Media Day on WDAY Plus, Inforum.com. Much more later tonight on our news at 6 and 10. Of course, next week on Hot Mic. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.